Slow. Guys, I hear no music. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything, guys. I don't think it's on my end. I don't hear anything. Guys, I don't hear anything. What the fuck is going on? I don't hear anything, guys. I hear nothing. I hear no music. I hear nothing. Sonia, I hear nothing. I hear nothing.
I'm doing it now. What's his name on the board?
Who?
Go ahead, start talking, Robert. We hear you. Just start talking.
All right, guys, welcome to the show. Today on a Thursday, coming up, our brother Gianno Caldwell is going to be joining us. He is one of our friends here at WVON. You guys remember years ago, Gianno used to come on with me. Fox News political analyst. He's a Chicagoan, Southsider, Simeon High School. I met Gianno years ago. As a young man, he and my son Nicholas worked together. My son was telling me, you got to meet Gianno. He's an amazing guy. And I met him, and he has been all of that and a lot more. He's a black Republican. He's conservative in his politics, and he's been showing his value over the years as one of the top political commentators for conservative politics. No doubt about it. As I mentioned, he's been on Fox News, among other. I'm sure he's podcasting and doing a lot of things. But you guys may remember when he lost his brother to gun violence here in Chicago. And because of that, he continues to keep that memory of his brother in part of a foundation, the Caldwell Foundation for Public Safety, as he's taken on this issue of violence in the city of Chicago and nationwide as something that he wants to make sure he's putting some work into. So we'll talk to Gianno about that coming up here at 12:20. Other than that, wide open show today. It's Thursday. A lot to talk about in politics. City Council yesterday. Some stuff happened in City Hall we can talk about. And we should be talking about because we need to know what's going on. I think one of the things that happens in the city of Chicago is these important meetings happen, and we are not really talking about the ins and outs and what's happening. We need to know what's going on. We need to know how these aldermen are voting and how they feel and whether or not their politics are representing the people in the ward that they represent, right? And so as we talk about what this race is going to look like next year, the mayor's race is going to look like next year, we've got to be attuned with the conversations that are happening in City Hall. And yes, part of that is our responsibility to make sure that we are bringing those conversations to you. So yeah, there's some responsibility in there for us to make sure that we're doing our part. And of course, there's some responsibility in it for you as well to make sure you're doing your part, right? Because you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And what we have to do is try to put as much water in front of you as we possibly can and hope that you're thirsty, for this information, for you, that you're thirsty for these conversations, and you're thirsty for these robust and healthy debates about politics, about current events, about social issues in our community, about taking on the issue of violence, gun violence, what we're going to talk about with Gianno in a second here, and whether or not we're recognizing what our role is in a democracy and how we make our vote and our voices count and make that happen. All right, 591-1690 is the number to call. Gianno is going to join us when we return. You're listening to the Matt Mcgill Show. Get up on it, everybody.
More from Matt Mcgill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
It's Rufus Williams. The thrill of summer is finally here, which also means it'll be over before we know it. This fall, the Rufus Williams Travel Club is heading to Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Join me as we experience the beauty, the brilliance, and the culture of one of America's most captivating cities. We'll enjoy the charm of the Lowcountry, breathtaking scenery, incredible cuisine, and the rich African-American history of Charleston. There will also be a few special surprises designed just for our group. So whether you're traveling alone, with family, or with friends, you'll be welcomed into an unforgettable experience filled with great people and great memories. Space is limited, and the best rates are right now. Simply go to WVON.com, click on the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner, and reserve your space. Advantage International is the official travel partner of the Rufus Williams Travel Club. Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Travel with people, travel with purpose, travel with us.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
Chicago officially has the worst traffic in the country. Get out of gridlock with Metra. With our 95% on-time rate, we eliminate the stress of driving and get you where you're going quickly, comfortably, and safely. Metra. Drive less, do more.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey everybody, this is Kendall Moore, The Kendall Moore Show, getting you from your work week to your weekend each and every Friday night from 6 until 9 p.m. I get you from your work week to your weekend. Church. Tabernacle.
Kendall Moore, radio for the next generation on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON. Now back to Matt Mcgill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Yeah. Yeah. Hello. Hello. All right. Okay. All right, we're back. 591-1690 is the number to call. Gianno's going to join us shortly. We haven't gotten his call yet, but he definitely wants to come on and talk about his march that he has Caldwell Foundation. This issue of violence that has taken the life of his brother, and it's impacted so many of us in the city of Chicago. There's no question about it. So we, all need to understand the pain that exists, and I think a lot of us do. I don't think there is any of us who has not had the violence impact their lives on one level or another. I think it's just true. But at the same time, let's not pretend like Chicago is this out of control city when it comes to violence, especially given the population of the city. I mean, we want to work toward a safer city, but the reality is the gun violence is down. The violence is down in this city from what it used to be back in the day. I just don't want it to become this political issue, the imaging of the city of Chicago, to be like it's the wild, wild west when millions of people come here every year. And this is really what throws a monkey wrench into that conversation. Millions of people come here every year, come to this city, visit this city, and they see for themselves what this city is all about. The NAACP convention, national convention, was just here last week and all into this week. And I'm sure if you talk to the people who came to the city for that convention, they would say to you, wow, Chicago's amazing. You know how many times I hear people say, Chicago, this is my favorite city. Who just said? Somebody just said that while we were at the convention. Somebody we were interviewing. In fact, I heard it several times over the weekend down in McCormick Place. People were saying, hey, this is my favorite city. No doubt about it. Oh, the brother that we interviewed who was on Empire, he said it. He's living in Atlanta right now. He's lived in Los Angeles, right? He's from the East Coast, Southeast. He was the one that said, man, Chicago is my favorite city, brother. He was living here while he was filming Empire, and he just talked about how amazing it was to live in the city of Chicago. You and I know it, right? This is a city that gives us a little bit of everything. We're spoiled, rotten city brats. And because of that, we take for granted some of the things that we enjoy in the city every day. But that's just the reality of it. You're spoiled, right? You take your wife for granted. Your wife takes you for granted. That's just how, familiar. What's the line? Familiarity breeds contempt. And that's what we have often in our lives. And I think for a lot of us in Chicago, that exists. Now, for those of us that live in the city and live in the trenches on a regular basis, of course, we take it for granted. But at the same time, we kind of deal with the city in a different way, in a more intimate way. And so we're involved in current events. We're involved in politics. And we want to see the city respond and be governed in a way that kind of reflects and represent who we are as Chicagoans. Speaking of that, next week, I'm going to have Congressman Mike Quigley on the show. I believe he's coming on next Wednesday, the 29th, whatever date the 29th is. And he's going to talk about his run to be the next mayor of the city of Chicago. You know that it's going to be a crowded field. I'm not sure how many people are going to run for mayor next year, but we can anticipate there's going to be several. I think every time I see the news post a picture about candidates who are running next year, it's already up to about 6 or 7 people. We see Mike Quigley. We see Alexi Janulia, Secretary of State. We see Alderman Conway's name thrown out there. We see Susanna Mendoza, who I think is already announced. We see WVON's own Maria Pappas. Her name is out. That's 5 right there. There are a couple of names on that list that a lot of us are not familiar with. And I forget their names. That's how unfamiliar they are to us, but they're very familiar to other people, and that's all that counts. So with those 5, you throw the mayor in there, that's 6. The possibility of Dr. Willie Wilson, right? He hasn't announced yet. That's 7. There are at least 2 more people that I believe are on the list that we have not mentioned, and we're just not familiar with them. So that's about Brewer, right? Matt Brewer, isn't that his name? That's 8. 1 more person, not possibly 10 people running for mayor of the city of Chicago. What is that debate stage going to look like? You guys know last time around we participated, WVON, we participated in the debate with NBC5. And it was interesting, man. I mean, I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I didn't feel like we got anything useful. I really don't think, and this is a conversation that we can have. Do we really get anything out of political debates the way mainstream media and local media, the way that we structure debates? Do you really get, I mean, does a debate have the ability to change your mind and influence your vote? Now, one would argue a bad debate, someone having a terrible debate, right, would influence you and make you not want to support them and vote for them. But if all things are equal and everybody kind of represents and comports themselves well, I mean, do you really put something into debates and or endorsements? Do endorsements matter to you, especially locally? Do endorsements like if the teachers union, SEIU, the plumbers union, and all of these different groups that may do endorsements, do they really matter? Even if you are a member of one of those organizations, do endorsements really matter to you? I don't know. Political endorsements, if the governor endorses somebody. See, our governor, Pritzker, when he endorses somebody, it means something because he also is putting a couple of millions behind them, right, to support them, like, right, what we saw with Juliana Stratton. But outside of that, does an endorsement all by itself really matter to you? Barack Obama comes in and he endorses somebody for mayor. Does that matter to you? Does that sway your vote? Does that influence? Now, I think for seniors, it may. I think for elderly seniors at that, not 65 to 75, but maybe 75 to 95, maybe a personal endorsement by a respected politician, maybe it makes a difference. As they might become a little challenged to consume all of the information. I mean, if you've got 10 people running for mayor, then that means you need like 10 dossiers on each candidate, right? One on each candidate, rather, and try to figure out, what are their positions? What are their policy positions, right? And that's why I tell people all the time, elections really are beauty contests. It really is about your PR. Perception matters, right? And so if you don't have your PR game together, then you are not going to win. The bottom line. One of the reasons why Brandon Johnson won last time around, yes, he had the money. Yes, he had CTU and SEIU, right? That's at least $2 million to $3 million behind you. That's going to get you on television and get you some commercials. But his commercials were good, right? His commercials were good. His energy was good. His communication was very, very good. I don't think you guys remember, but Mayor Johnson had some very good commercials. And what it did was it embraced him to the Chicago public that didn't know anything about him, that was curious, that wanted to know, who is this guy? Family man and, well-spoken, former Chicago public school teacher. They hit on all of these things that created some connectivity, right? That's important. You got to be a good communicator. Brandon Johnson was a very good communicator. When he talks, every time he comes on VON, every time you hear him talk, you don't have to agree with what he says. But the way he says things, he's doing it very, very well. All right, it's 12:30. 591-1690 is the number to call. Gianno's going to call in sometime during the show today, so we'll take his call when he comes in. Other than that, there's so much to talk about. I'll run down some of the daily politics, and you see what's on your mind, including what happened to City Council yesterday. I don't know. I had a very busy day yesterday. It had nothing to do with the city of Chicago politics or anything else. But I'm skilled enough to chop it up with you guys anyway. Phone lines are wide open. Annette Flournoy is coming your way with WVON News right now.
It's sunny today with a high of 79. Good afternoon. I'm Kayla Patton, and here's what's happening. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul has joined efforts to extend the temporary protected status for the Haitians. TPS was set to end tomorrow, but a short extension was granted through Monday. Attorney General Raul is part of a coalition of 20 attorneys who are asking Congress to pass legislation that will provide judicial oversight and set up a pathway to permanent residency. Right now, Chicago's Haitian community is concerned about their future.
I will not be able to pay my mortgage. I will not be able to pay my car. I will not be able to feed my kids.
Earlier this year, the Trump administration stopped issuing temporary work visas to Haitians. The Obama administration gave TPS to Haitians following a devastating earthquake back in January 2010. Well, new questions are surfacing in the investigation into the death of Nolan Wells following an independent autopsy. Perry Williams has more.
Civil rights attorney Ben Crump told the crowd yesterday at the NAACP National Convention in Chicago that the cause of death is still undetermined and he's hoping for some answers.
Heard the sheriff say there's no foul play at the beginning of the investigation. That is cause for concern.
Wells was found dead in the water on July 6 just off Horn Island, Mississippi. The case has gained national attention with its racial component, given Wells, who is black, was traveling with a group of friends, all of whom are white. I'm Perry Williams.
Governor Pritzker will be signing a law to designate Emmett Till Day in Illinois. The signing will take place today at Robert's Temple Church of God in Christ in Chicago. Emmett Till was a 14-year-old black child from Chicago who was kidnapped, beaten, and brutally murdered in Mississippi by white supremacists in 1955. Robert's Temple was the site where his body was displayed in an open casket for his funeral, which launched the modern civil rights movement. The church is recognized as a national monument. To brighten it up, the annual Chicago Gospel Fest is making a return to Millennium Park this weekend, July 24th and 25th. The free 2-day celebration has anchored the city's summer festival calendar for 4 decades. Saturday programming will expand into tents, hosting live broadcasts, gospel DJs, and community choir performances throughout the afternoon. The fest will also feature a star-studded roster of talent both tomorrow and Saturday at the J. Pritzker Pavilion. This year's festival headlining performances come from Hezekiah Walker and Love Fellowship Choir, Ricky Dillard, and Tasha Cobbs-Leonard. Chicago is also stepping into the spotlight today as the city hosts an assembly of icons and trailblazers at the Obama Presidential Center for the inaugural WNBA All-Star Media and Innovation Summit. The summit celebrates 3 decades of the WNBA's transformative impact and how to help shape the next decade for women and girls in sports. A packed roster of events will also take place this weekend with a skill comp at Wintrust Arena, a fan experience at Pioneer Court, where fans are able to play basketball and meet WNBA players at the interactive site. That's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. I'm Kayla Patton.
Shop small with Wintrust Bank and celebrate the heart of our community, our local businesses. Listen as we share a list of small businesses throughout our community that we can shop, dine, and support throughout the year. These businesses are the economic engine that drives our neighborhoods. Wintrust knows that. That's why they're Chicago's bank and why they're encouraging you to shop local. Keep listening for the Wintrust Community Business Spotlight campaign. With Wintrust, shopping small is a big deal.
Hey Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON. Every Sunday, now you'll be able to listen to the First Church of Deliverance here on 1690 WVON and on the iHeartRadio app at 11 p.m. Tune in for inspirational music, powerful word, and a blessing from the Lord. That's the First Church of Deliverance, Sundays at 11 p.m. right here on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Follow us at fcbchicago.org.
The base that I'm talking about.
Now back to Mcgill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
In Congress, but the people who elect the people in Congress. All right, we're back. 591-1690, number to call. If you have something on your mind, you need to let me know right now while we've got a lot of time to talk about it. I don't have any guests scheduled, so this is a time to talk because once this coffee kicks in, I'm going to be doing all the talking, and y'all going to be sitting around wondering what the heck is going on. The president had a press conference. I didn't hear about it, but he's going to continue to talk about the war in Iran and try to put lipstick on a pig, right? Try to make this war effort and the fact that we continue to lose lives in Iran to make it seem like it's something other than what it is, a complete debacle, a complete mess, an unnecessary war that has cost the lives of Americans, has driven prices of gasoline, oil, and other prices sky high, has closed the Strait of Hormuz, which was open before this ridiculous war. And you're not going to bomb your way out of this mess. The president thinks so. I don't know. Maybe I may be proven wrong. I'm sure the United States has more military might. I tell you what, if I was North Korea or China right now, boy, I would be taking advantage of the United States putting so much attention on the Middle East and the Hormuz Strait. I don't know why China is not just chomping at the bit and firing off some bombs to show that it's going to take over areas in its proximity. I don't know why North Korea, which they enjoy immensely antagonizing America and Americans, I don't know why they're not taking advantage of this opportunity. I'm not anti-American, but I am anti-Donald Trump as president of America. That's for sure, because what he's doing is he is engineering policies that have nothing to do with you and me and the average American, and that's including poor white people, middle-class white people who are the ones that put them in office. They can't really show any return. They, the press secretary today, whatever her name is, the ditzy blonde chick that comes out, and President John Trump is doing this, and because of him, he is doing this, and da 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 da. Yeah, that Fulio was having a press conference today and tout which some things which actually might be good. No tax on tips. Yeah, I could see that. There were some other things that she touted that might be good. They need to put that out there because everything else is such a mess. That she what's the press secretary's name? Just to show you, this shows you how disinterested am in her life. I haven't even taken the time out to know her. I've known every president's press secretary except for Donald Trump's. I've never paid attention to any of Donald Trump's press secretaries. And it's primarily because all they do is propagate bull crap. They're not like standard traditional press secretaries. They're more of spokespeople, policy spokespeople, right? Instead of communicating, they like, hey, this is what the president's going to be doing this today. The president's going to be talking about this today. He'll be taking questions about this. Thank you, Shelby. Caroline Levitt. Again, just like Pam Bondi, she would be great if she had an OnlyFans page. I mean, she looks like the kind of blonde that is, Snowflake on the Lake, is her handle or something like that. Or, white, or Blondie, a Blondie the Hottie. I'm giving her OnlyFans names here. You guys know media is my specialty. If you got a product or something you want to kick off, man, call me. Messaging and product branding is what I do, man, in an amazing way. So for Carolyn Levitt, Blondie the Hottie, that's going to be her OnlyFans page, Blondie the Hottie. And from now on, I'll refer to her. Should it be Blondie the Hottie or Blondie the blank brain? Oh, that's a good one for it. The blank brain Blondie. All right, Carolyn Levitt. Let me put this down. Carolyn Levitt. Okay, that's her name. Her new name is Blank Brain. I got to write stuff down, yo. Blank Brain Blondie. Her husband is like 30 years older than her. Yeah. I see it. I mean, yeah. Why not? When you are old time, you want a blank brain blondie. If you're old guy, you don't want a young blondie with a brain. You want to, you know what I'm saying? She's not gonna understand the prenup. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you want. You want a Carolyn Levitt. Hold on, can we look her up and find out what her? She's the most aggravating human being on television, man. And I'm trying to, my brain explodes every time I see her, brother. I mean, she's killing me with this rigmarole about Donald J. Trump doing everything. Hold on, let me speak into Carolyn Levitt's biography. Let's see, guys. Let's see. We're talking about Carol. She was born in 1997. Okay. So that makes her what, 20? She's not even, she's 29 years old. Am I doing my math correctly here? Yeah, she's an American political communications professional and Republican political spokesperson. Wow. Since January of 2025, she has served as the 36th White House press secretary under Donald Trump. At age 27, she became the youngest person ever to hold that position. See, Trump, Trump likes them young and dumb too. He likes them young and dumb too. Donald Trump, you got to give him credit. He keeps like blank-brained people around him so that they can't question, whether or not he's, doing something ethical, unethical. The lesser the brain power, the more likely it is you get this kind of authoritarian political leader that Donald Trump. She was born and raised in Atkinson, New Hampshire. How about that? That's a little bit of a liberal area. How did she become a blank brain conservative? Attended St. Anselm College in Manchester, New Hampshire, where she studied politics and communication and graduated in 2019. While in college, she became active in conservative politics and wrote for the student newspaper. Began as an intern in the Trump White House during the first Trump administration. Boy, you got to love that pathway in Washington, D.C. Intern to press secretary. And how many years did she go from intern to press secretary? I'm telling you, man, we've got to get her OnlyFans page going. The Blank Brain Blondie. The Blank Brained. We got to put it with ED. Blank Brained Blondie. The 36. What number press secretary is she? It's got to be more than 36 press secretaries in the history of the United States. But she's the blank brain. 30 has served as the 36th White House press secretary. Oh, okay. So we didn't have press secretaries until the 60s, I believe. So that makes sense. She's the 36th one. I think the 35th president of the United States was probably the first time we had a press secretary. So that makes sense, right? If you think about it. John Kennedy, 1960, I'm guessing. It's probably the first time we had a press secretary. That's my guess. Oh, good. I'm getting a phone call. You guys want to eavesdrop on my phone? No, we can't do that. Anyway, let me see. I'll respond and type a message. Call you in a sec. Can we do that? All right, never mind. It's not replying anyway. 591-1690. All right, let's get some phone calls going. Let's take a break here. And then we come back, we'll take some phone calls. I'll run some others. I really do want to get into some of the stuff that happened in city council yesterday. I got to find it, though. I read it this morning, and now I lost the story that I was reading. But some interesting things, including bringing up some of the issues regarding the migrants. What else did I see? Oh, some of the things that will be on the ballot in November and in February. Why isn't the millionaire tax on the ballot? And I think the average Chicagoan should be a little upset about that. The mayor proposed a billionaire tax to put it on the ballot, not to enforce it necessarily, just say the citizens of Chicago should be able to vote on a millionaire tax. And it was shot down in committee. All right. Why? What's the why behind that? Because a lot of you guys got all out of whack because the mayor didn't want to put the migrant issue or if Chicago should remain a sanctuary city. He didn't want to put that on the ballot, and y'all lost y'all damn minds. 591-1690. I'm putting together Carolyn Levitt's OnlyFans page right now, the blank-brained blondie. And then once I get it up and going, I'm going to be the first one to subscribe to it. It's going to be free, right? Because ain't nobody going to pay for it unless she puts some content up there. I don't know, man. If she put some content on there, hey, man, I don't mind paying for my pleasure. 591-1690. It's the Matt Mcgill Show.
More from Matt Mcgill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Some people wait for the future, others build it. WVON proudly presents the 2026 40 Game Changers Under 40. This year, it's a compass celebrating the navigators of next. Do you know an entrepreneur, community change agent, rising executive, educator, innovator, or a creator who is 40 or under and doing great work to help shape the future of Chicago? Or is that someone you? Now through July 17th, we're taking nominations. Visit 40gamechangers.com to submit your nominee. And then keep listening for updates on this year's exciting celebration. In 2026, our compass is on the navigators of next because Chicago's future belongs to the people bold enough to lead it. Sponsored by BMO.
Oh, what time are you going?
Hey, baby! I'm your Magnolia Blues man, Sir Henry Cheatham, inviting you to join us on WVON 1690 for some real American music and culture.
Is in the hospital. So I know I gotta go.
Classic blues and R&B. Check us out Saturday, 11
So
p.m. until 2 a.m.
let's just be in touch with each other.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why
have you ever been by there?
Easily ordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
You know, actually, it's not far from where I live at all.
Anyone see my flip-flops?
Because it's really right off of 7 on South Chicago and 71st Street. It's really right off of that off of space. One of our listeners used to go there and used to talk about it. He's like, yeah, man, go in there, they got good food and da-da-da-da-da. I used to be like, all right. And then I think I heard Tiffany, we just need Brooks. I don't know if she owns it, her husband owns it, or somebody she's associated with.
Saturday morning, as we discuss a holistic and public health
approach. You know Tiffany when you see.
We will also be
I'm sure
discussing
she's gonna be there.
ways that we can create
I'll
a
point her
safe,
out.
peaceful, economically thriving, and healthy communities. Join me Saturday mornings
8 a.m. on W.
She just ran for judge on March 17th.
Now back to Matt Mcgill on the Talk of Chicago.
This
Less
restaurant
than
has
100.
lived in Chicago since
WVON.
2007. Is
All right, I'm
concerned
about to go
that
back on there. I'll hit you a little later, though.
and she could lose her work permit.
I will not be able to pay my mortgage. I will not be able to pay my car. I will not be able to feed my kids.
TPS gives migrants whose home countries are affected by natural disasters and wars the chance to live.
All right, we're back. 591-1690.
Pass would extend TPS through 2029.
All right, now we're back. There we go. 591-1690. We're back. I think we've got some phone calls, maybe or maybe. What was I just talking about before we left? Oh, the blank-brained OnlyFans page. Why does President Trump have all of these women working for him that need to be on OnlyFans? Why, man? Can somebody help me understand this, brother? Jim, South Elgin, what's on your mind?
Well, how you doing, my friend?
Doing good, brother.
Good. So did you like the conversation we had over the weekend?
Of course.
Of course. Now, see, that young lady, she's even younger. I'm more than 30 years older than she is. And you know what? She's a Honduran girl, and she's not screwed up by feminism. And this is the thing, you know.
Viva Honduran women.
Absolutamente. Okay, they're not screwed up by feminism. Anyways, you know, people keep selling Trump short. You know, Trump surrounds himself with people that are qualified. It doesn't matter what their skin color is, how old they are, whatever. If they can do the job, they can do the job. And that's why Trump is very effective. And of course, the press has to lie about him and say, for example, like this lady's a dim bulb. She's not a dim bulb at all. The problem is the press misleads information about these people. And that's part of the situation. That's part of the cultural battle.
You know now, Jim.
I'm sorry,
Jim. I like your I like your style, your energy, and your intelligence when it comes to the female companions that you surround yourself with. But when it comes to politics, to me you start losing the folk. You know, like here's what I don't think you do when it comes to this issue of talking about Trump. You don't parse out the good, the bad, and the ugly. You try to steamroll that everything that Trump does is good and it's for the good of the nation, and he's great. What you like, hey Jim, like for example, I can list about 10 things. I'm as big as Obama fan as you are a Trump fan, but I can list about 10 things that I will go to the mat and dog Barack Obama out about and say he's dead wrong about policy stuff. Right. I don't think you can do the same.
Well, let's take some. Have you seen the reduction in pharmaceutical costs that Trump has been negotiating?
No, Jim, you didn't. Did you hear what I just said? I said I don't think that there are 10 things that you could go to the mat on and say Donald Trump is dead wrong about this, and I'm disappointed. Are you? Let me ask you this: are you disappointed? Are you disappointed in anything that Donald Trump has ever done in his entire life?
Well, like you asked me before, the one thing he should have not done was listen to Fauci. Because Fauci lied about COVID and all the stuff is coming out now about all the garbage that was behind.
Notice I asked you about Trump.
You asked me a question.
No. Your answer, you threw it on to Fauci. I want you to tell me something. Tell me something that you're disappointed in Donald Trump about that was engineered by Donald Trump.
Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you. There's really not much because most of what he's doing is good for America. Exactly.
And Jim, you got to understand that's why.
Example, hold on, bro. How about, for example, the new savings accounts that he's creating for people put in the $1,000 so they'll have money by the time they're 18. In fact, Georgia, the guy's running for governor, said he's going to double it. And so what these things are doing, these ideas are giving people some funding to start with and grow as they get older. So when they're older, they have something, a little bit of a nest egg.
Amazing. Hey, Jim, listen to me. Now, listen, I want you to understand what I'm talking about. Listen to me. When I say I would never vote for Donald Trump in my life, I think he's a fraud. I think that account, though, I think it was a great idea. I think there are actually some things that hold on. I think there's some things that Donald Trump does that are actually pretty good.
Well,
I
listen,
don't think that
everything
you could
Trump
say
does-
that about a Democrat.
Well, let's compare Illinois to Florida, Texas, and Tennessee.
You're going back to your old talking points here, Jim. I'm making a broader
But
point.
the evidence, I mean, it's quite clear. That's why the experiments of the states is such a good thing, because people can sit there and compare one state to the other.
Jim, you and I have agreed on taxes in Illinois and stuff like that. I think here's the here. I mean, I don't mind you calling into the show. You know, Jim, you and I are friends. I have no problem with that. Hold on. Hold on, everybody. I'm sorry, everybody. I am about to lose the show. All right, never mind. All right. Woo. I was about to go off the air. I'm not up here looking at my laptop is on 2%. I'm sorry, y'all. This laptop drains the battery really quick. But Jim, here's the point I want to make. And I apologize, everybody, for that delay. I had to run and go get my charger to make sure this laptop doesn't cut off mid-show. Guys, here's the point I want to make, Jim. And this is what I want you to listen to and understand, right? Everybody else that listens to you, when you call in, they discount everything that you say. And the reason why, and just listen, Jim, don't comment for a second, right? I'll let you come back after the break and say whatever you want to say. I want you to just listen for a second, though. Seriously. And try to resist comment. I know it's hard. Everybody that listens to you, the majority of WVON listeners, if I went up and down and started looking at all of these Facebook Live comments, they tune you out soon as you start talking. They'll roll their eyes soon as they hear your voice on here. The reason why is because there's no objectivity or fairness in how you evaluate Donald Trump and politics right now. So they already know what you're going to say. They already know what's coming out your mouth. So it adds no value to the conversation, right? See, and so I think you have value in your conversation, but you take your value away. You're being self-destructive in your conversation because you are so biased about Donald Trump, right? If I, for example, all I did was talk about how great somebody is and they only flaws. Look, I damn near do that with Brandon Johnson, but I've criticized Mayor Johnson a lot, right? But if all I did was glorify him, then people are going to tune out whatever I say when I talk about him. And that's what listeners do when you call in. They tune out what you say because they would almost value you criticizing Trump on one thing. On one thing, they would be like, oh, wait a minute. This is Can't Miss Radio. Jim from South Elgin is about to he's mad at Donald Trump. He's about to criticize him. That would be Can't Miss Radio. They would be like, I got to listen to this. Hold on, I got to listen to this. But they know what you're going to say. So there's no value. In fact, you're so biased that what you say is almost valueless to the listeners. You got when somebody is that biased, then there's no even conversing or even trying to debate them. It just isn't, because it adds no value to the conversation. That's all I'm saying, brother. I want you to sit up here, and I'm just saying this because of what you just said. Donald Trump only hires the most qualified people. If that was not so blatantly like a lie, you know what I'm saying? The fact that is just such a blatant lie. There's no way that I don't want in my brain to think that Jim from South Elgin thinks that Pete Hegseth was the most qualified person that Donald Trump could find for the job. And if you say that, Jim, then everybody else is going to think that you're irrational in your thoughts, man, and that you're a victim of disorganized thinking. Does that make sense? I'll let you respond when we come back. You're listening to the Matt McGill Show.
I hope you're making the best of this grand and glorious day. I'm KP in for Logan Page, and in the headlines, Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul has joined efforts to extend the temporary protected status for Haitians. Mayor Johnson and council members clash over advisory referendums, and Chicago's very own Gospel Fest is returning to Millennium Park beginning tomorrow, and our own Gospel Sister Pam Morris-Walton will be honored by Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. And first thing tomorrow morning, Pam Morris-Walton will join WVON's Rufus Williams live. The Black Information Network is next on Chicago's original social media platform, 1690 AM WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
Here's BIN News Now. New Jersey is removing thousands of voter registrations after officials discovered a Motor Vehicle Commission software error mistakenly registered some non-citizens to vote. Governor Mikey Sherrill.
And we will remove anyone from the voter rolls who may have improperly registered.
State officials say the issue affected about 6,000 people. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is considering ending a long-standing requirement that larger employers report workforce demographics by race, ethnicity, and sex. Critics argue the data remains important to identify workplace discrimination. And the U.S. Department of Education is investigating 5 medical schools over allegations that race was improperly considered in admissions decisions. 2 of the schools, Dartmouth College and East Carolina University, say they are still confident in their admissions practices. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Here's more with Terry McCready.
One of the hardest things to do. For me, it's one of the hardest things to do as a president, but has to be done.
President Trump attending a dignified transfer yesterday at Dover Air Force Base for 4 U.S. soldiers. 19-year-old Isabella Gonzalez, 25-year-old Tyler Feehan, and 28-year-old Angel Rompersant were killed when an Iranian missile struck their sleeping barracks in Jordan on Friday. 30-year-old black U.S. service member Michael Emmanuel Swinton died on Sunday while attempting to disarm a downed Iranian drone in Iran. Trump is issuing a new warning to Iran. In a post on Truth Social yesterday, he wrote that if Iran shoots a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. will respond by bombing a bridge or power plant. The president went on to say that those next to or in the capital city of Tehran could be targeted. His comments come as the U.S. has launched strikes on Iran for a dozen nights. The latest strikes targeted military operations centers, aircraft hangars, and drone storage facilities. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani continuing to criticize Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and call for his arrest when he visits New York in September.
There is, in fact, a rule of law across the world where there are crimes that are so grave that they offend all of humanity. And I believe that we should hold those who perpetrate them accountable.
The day after releasing a video listing allegations of war crimes against Netanyahu, Mamdani was peppered with questions about it. He says Netanyahu orchestrated a genocide and is a war criminal. He's calling on the federal government to arrest him on an international criminal court warrant. Mamdani has acknowledged that he cannot have New York authorities arrest Netanyahu, which was a campaign promise. Dozens of states are going to be forced to put up more money to fund the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program or end up cutting food assistance if they don't get their rates under control. The passage of the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill last year, the Trump administration warned states to address error rates or lose partial federal funding for SNAP. The target is an error rate under 6%.
That will be
the percentage of SNAP benefits paid either above or below what people should have received, primarily because of mistakes. It includes both over and underpayments. Blacks represent about 26% of SNAP recipients. The Secret Service is ramping up security for the rescheduled White House Correspondents' Dinner following an assassination attempt at the original event in April. Secret Service Director Sean Curran acknowledged his team is at a heightened level of a threat environment based on things happening around the globe. Friday's dinner will be held at the Waldorf Astoria instead of the Washington Hilton. There will be a shorter guest list and enhanced security. This all comes after 31-year-old black suspect Cole Allen of California was accused of sprinting through security with guns and knives in an attempt to assassinate President Trump and other White House officials at the previous dinner. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Ah. Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi, it's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
In July, Vaughn TV has your summer watch list covered. Go behind the headlines with the official launch of Portraits in Color, featuring candid conversations with music executive Matthew Knowles, community leader Jotaka Edie, and actress Danielle Truitt.
My family's very proud. It was very cool to, when the show first came out and to see myself in those credits, with dun 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 dun, and be like, that's me. That's crazy, It is very cool to be a part of the legacy of Law & Order now.
And that's just the beginning. Premiering this month, Serenity, Strength, and Style with Sylvia Ewing and Friends, a fresh new series featuring inspiring conversations about health, wellness, creativity, and living life to the fullest. This July, there's something for everyone on Vaughn TV. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV+, the WVON app, or at Vaughn.tv. Vaughn TV, for the culture, by the culture.
Protect your money and build your wealth. Sundays at 3 p.m., host and owners of Top & Top Insurance Agency, Clydell and Betty Top, teach you about protecting your assets, 401ks, annuities, life after retirement, the differences and benefits of life insurance, and they take questions. Their advice can enhance your financial future and your legacy. Call for a free WVON financial consultation, 773-881-8110. Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. to protect your money and build your wealth. Powered by Top & Top Insurance Agency.
Shop small with Wintrust Bank. Celebrate the heart of our community, our local businesses. Listen as we share a list of small businesses throughout our community that we can shop, dine, and support throughout the year. These businesses are the economic engine that drives our neighborhoods. Wintrust knows that. That's why they're Chicago's bank and why they're encouraging you to shop local. Keep listening for the Wintrust Community Business Spotlight campaign. With Wintrust, shopping small is a big deal.
Now back to Matt Mcgill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, we're back, y'all. 1 o'clock. We got 1 hour in the books and 2 more hours to go. It's Real Radio. It's WVON. It's the legacy station. No other station is like this station. No other station has the legacy that WVON has with Black Chicago. This is the only station that matters to you. If you're Black and you live in this country, you want to listen to WVON. If you're Black and you live in Chicago, you want to listen to WVON. If you're Black and you are a conscientious advocate for your people, you want to listen to WVON. If you're a damn fool and you just want to tune in to be an a-hole, you still listen to WVON. Nobody cares as long as you listen. It is what it is, right? But here's the thing. I let people talk. I let everybody do their thing. I want all the callers from all sides of town to feel like they can call in and get in some hearty debate. It's what it is. If it's not objective and hearty, robust debate, if it's biased and just hard, I mean, you know what I'm getting at. Let's have a good conversation. All right, Jim. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to take, but honestly, I'm trying to help you with the WVON listeners, man, because all of them feel one way about you, and it's because, Jim, you're not like, to say what you said about Donald Trump hires highly qualified people when even Republican commentators wince at some of the people that he's hired. I mean, Bobby Kennedy, Pete Hegseth. How does a guy, I mean, forget your political alliance, Jim. How does a guy go from being a Pete Hegseth, a weekend Fox anchor on a show that nobody watches, to being in charge of the largest, most powerful, and most consequential military in the world? You see what I'm saying? So when you say statements like he's qualified, then people question everything else that you say. That's all I'm saying, brother. But go ahead. I'll let you respond.
All right. I think we should do a show together with no no turn off the mic, because I could dispute and argue about or discuss everything we discussed. For example, during the Biden time, remember that guy that was, the trans guy that got caught stealing luggage in airports?
But Jim, we're not talking about Biden. We're not talking about.
We're talking about people that Trump put in office.
I'm talking about Jim.
Okay, Hegseth, under Hegseth, guess what? How many young, more black men are enrolled in the armed services because they got rid of all this LBGT crap out of the service?
So Jim, let me tell you what you're doing.
Not a bunch of girls and hold on, bro.
Let me tell you what you're doing now.
Dresses
go
and
ahead.
trans.
All right, I'm gonna let you do.
In the military, and that's what Hegseth is get rid of. And that's why the military enrollment is up. That's why young, strong black men want to be young, strong black men and not a bunch of wussies. And that's what the Democrats do with all this LBGT stuff. That's why, for example, I go to Honduras and I see my young girlfriend that's much younger than I am.
All right.
It's a wonderful time because she hasn't been screwed up by feminism.
Okay.
And I could go on.
All right. But you're proving my point, though. But good call.
No. One more thing. You know how many people give me messages because of my participation on VON? I get a ton of calls. Thumbs up, brother.
Okay. All right.
I just peace out.
All right. Good call. All right. Let's go to somebody that's calling us in Toronto. I think I saw. Hold on here. Let's go to our next caller, and it is Norman from Toronto. Welcome to WVON, brother. Norman, or whoever is on right now, if you're from Toronto.
Or whoever is on right now, if you're from Toronto.
All right, I'm getting feedback.
Hello, can you hear me? Or whoever is on right now, if you're from Toronto. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Rule number one, everybody that's on hold. Turn down your radio.
Underwater movie. I can't hear. It's wobbly.
All right. Let's go to everybody. Turn down your radio if you're on hold. Rule number one. Turn down your radio. Let's go to Belinda. Belinda, welcome to WVON.
Hi, Matt.
How are you?
I am so sick of Jim from
I know. Don't. I don't want us talking about other callers.
Okay, but he's making it hard to listen to the show.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
He's making, because I want to turn it off when he comes on, but then I'm scared I'm going to miss somebody that's saying something significant after he hangs up. That's the only reason I hang on. And what make him think?
Well, hold on, Belinda.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. If I let callers talk about each other, then I'm opening up a can of worms.
Okay. But can I just talk to you about?
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
Matt, please don't give him that much time.
Belinda, I hear you and understand you, but let's stop talking about Jim right now. What's on your mind?
Okay, right now that's all on my mind, so I have to call back another time.
Okay.
I'm saying because he pissed me off to the max.
I know, everybody. That's what Facebook Live is about, because you can kind of say whatever you want to say on Facebook Live.
Yeah, but I'm in the car. I'm in the car. I'm in the car, and I'm so pissed
Okay.
off.
I get
Okay.
it. And I know some of you are upset that I gave Jim, that time. But I'm trying to. I really, deep down inside, guys, I want to think that people can have very strong political disagreements, right? But understand that each side is on some BS and should be criticized. Like, the Republicans that I respect are the ones who will admit, oh man, look, I know Trump is on some BS, man, but hey, the reason why I support him, because I'm a conservative, I'm a Republican, I want a conservative Supreme Court. He is giving me a conservative agenda on certain things that I like. Hey, I don't like this. I don't like that. I don't like the tariffs. I don't like the fact that his family is making money. But I support him because I'm getting some things from him. Yeah, I think Pam Bondi was a terrible choice. See, I want Republicans like that. But good call, Belinda. I got you, sister.
Okay.
That's the kind of Republican you hope you can have the kind of dialogue with people on the other side of the aisle that will be like, oh man, are you kidding me? Pete Hegseth doesn't deserve to be anywhere near the Department of Defense or the Pentagon. He doesn't do, but I'm a Republican, so I support Trump because he is pushing through these tax breaks that I support. He did get the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade. That was a big thing for me. Do I think Donald Trump's a fool for putting Pete Hegseth in? Yes. Do I think he was a fool for doing tariffs and raising up inflation? Yes. Do I think he's given Israel too much and this war in Iran is stupid because we had the JCPOA? Yes. But see, the kind of Republican that I detest and MAGA tool that I detest is like Todd Blanche and all the guys that you see go up in front of Congress. And when you ask them a question about, hey, did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election, and they can't answer the question, did Joe Biden win the 2020 election? See, those are the kind of people that we don't need in politics, right? We need people in politics that disagree with your politics, but also agree on certain ethical and obvious things. Pete Hegseth doesn't believe. Or if a Republican said to me, Matt, what name something about Barack Obama you didn't know, and I would be like, he had no business making Hillary Clinton Secretary of State, which you guys have heard me say. Worst decision of his presidency was making Hillary Clinton Secretary of State. He had no business extending the 2010 tax break that he extended. He had no business doing that. He thought Republicans were going to support him in a midterm if he extended Bush-era tax cuts. It was a mistake. Barack Obama, that was a terrible mistake. 591-1690, you're listening to the Matt McGill Show.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Shop small with Wintrust Bank and celebrate the heart of our community, our local businesses. Listen as we share a list of small businesses throughout our community that we can shop, dine, and support throughout the year. These businesses are the economic engine that drives our neighborhoods. Wintrust knows that. That's why they're Chicago's bank and why they're encouraging you to shop local. Keep listening for the Wintrust Community Business Spotlight campaign. With Wintrust, shopping small is a big deal.
Some people wait for the future, others build it. WVON proudly presents the 2026 40 Game Changers Under 40. This year, it's a compass celebrating the navigators of next. Do you know an entrepreneur, community change agent, rising executive, educator, innovator, or a creator who is 40 or under and doing great work to help shape the future of Chicago? Or is that someone you? Now through July 17th, we're taking nominations. Visit 40gamechangers.com to submit your nominee. And then keep listening for updates on this year's exciting celebration. In 2026, our compass is on the navigators of next, because Chicago's future belongs to the people bold enough to lead it. Sponsored by BMO.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your family's health and our community's health comes first. That's why UChicago Medicine brings you the Community Health Focus Hour, Saturdays at 1 p.m. No matter the health topic, you'll get clear facts, real and doable advice from UChicago Medicine doctors, experts, and community leaders. So you, your family, and community can make smarter choices and live healthier. Hear us at WVON.com or WVON at iHeartRadio. The Community Health Focus Hour, Saturdays at 1 p.m., powered by the Urban Health Initiative of UChicago Medicine at the forefront.
Now back to Matt McGill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right. 22 minutes after 1 o'clock. We're here to 3 on a Thursday, a beautiful day outside. You love your life. You're listening to Black Talk Radio. Hey, man, this is real. This is a forum. It allows you to talk, and it even allows people like Jim to call in. I know you guys don't like the fact that Jim I gave Jim that kind of time, but I mean, hey, look, we got to hear from. I just want people that I disagree with politically to agree with me on some basic stuff, right? Like, for example, you can be a diehard Donald Trump fan and still admit, yeah, I don't like the fact that his family's that he has kind of engineered his family making a couple of $1 billion since he's been in office. See, that's not even a policy issue. That's an ethics issue. I'm down with you. Hey, man, look, I voted for Trump because of this. I want stronger borders. I felt like the southern border was compromised. I'm an American. This is what Trump ran on. I'm an American first kind of person. You know, I think, we're being taxed, whatever it is. If you say you support Donald Trump, but at the same time, you can admit, like, yeah, but his family making billions of dollars off of government influence. Nah, I don't agree with that. And that takes nothing. Yeah, Pete Hexon, yeah, man, yeah, I'm not. Pam Bondi as Attorney General, yeah, that bothered me, man. I will admit, man, having a devout racist, Stephen Miller, as his top advisor. Yeah. See, these are conversations that Republicans in D.C. have off the record. They won't go on the record and say that. And that's being a coward, a bit of a coward to me. If Emil Per Appeal says First Amendment freedom of the press. All right, been bought. I've created the solution. Mike Burries. Lee Williams, what's going on? Let's see who else. Peggy Johnson, good afternoon. Vivian King. Hey, Vivian King, what's happening? Brother Terrell Carter is who I was thinking of. Vivian says she loves Chicago. I know you do. Al Stone said that's a false narrative regarding tourists to the city. Approximately 6.1 tourists visit the Quad Cities annually as well. All right. Tony Snow, all politicians, bro, let's get this money. Tony is hilarious. Cheryl Lee Carter, hello from Philadelphia. Red Sea. What is Kwame Raoul doing for black folks? I mean, that's a good question. I think it's a good question, and we have to answer it, right? I think Kwame. I mean, how do you guys feel about Kwame? Number one, let me say this: Kwame is a friend of mine, but at the same time, he's holding public office and he's open to scrutiny. Do you guys feel like Kwame Raoul has been an effective attorney general for the state of Illinois? That's a legitimate and as as being an attorney general. Is that equal to being a legislator or an executive? So, for example, Kwame used to be a state senator where he was responsible for public policy. Now, as Attorney General of the state of Illinois, he's responsible for defending the citizens and taking legal action on behalf of the citizens of the state of Illinois. So I'm not sure the comparison is good. You guys tell me what you think. I'm cool with it. Shelby was the one that told me Carolyn Levitt was our press secretary. And what did I call it? Blank-brained blondie. Yep. Her husband is 30 years old. Mike Burry says, I have a product to increase black boys' reading proficiency rate and reducing their murder rate. Can you help me? I mean, if I can help you, I would. You let me, I'll tell you what, Mike, because you and I, we go back and forth on this a lot. You tell me how I can help you. How about that? Ambreem Shahid says, I am a midwife nurse. Okay, I love it. Let's go to our brother from Toronto. Is he back? Norman from Toronto, are you there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing, brother?
Sam Cooke would say wonderful, but I wanted to let you know that you were talking about the migrants. When I came here, I refused to go to Vietnam, and I sued the U.S. government, and of course lost the case, and I went into exile into Canada. And I remember one time I was listening to a talk show in Toronto, and there was a brother from one of the Caribbean islands, and he called my name and said that call for me to be deported, because I didn't, fight in Vietnam. However, at that particular time, the Canadian government was welcoming people that refused to fight in Vietnam, and many of the Canadians, African origin, Asian origin, European origin, opposed the war in Vietnam. So there was quite a bit of support for draft dodgers or draft resistors. I just wanted to inform you about that.
Yeah, no, I obviously that was Vietnam was a little bit before my time of comprehension of political and global events, but of course, I did know that there Canada, because a lot of Americans went to Canada for that reason, right, to avoid the draft at the time that was happening. A lot of people young people have no idea what a draft is, and so you can only imagine what that was like for young people. I think as you look at the Vietnam War, and I think there were a lot of young Americans that just did not understand why we were there. And it would be the same with this conflict that we have in Iran right now, right? If more people were being killed. See, the difference is you had thousands of young people that were losing their lives in Vietnam. I mean, it was just gruesome. The numbers were just absolutely terrible, right? And so because of that, you had all these protests, right? If we started seeing hundreds, not thousands, but if we today just saw hundreds of people losing their lives because of this conflict in Iran, you would see the same kind of protests going on because young people don't understand why we are there. What are we doing there? What is the threat to the United States? And Vietnam and Viet Cong and And it was not a threat to the United States of America. It was a war that people did not feel that we should be involved in. Spending military resources, financial resources, and precious lives of Americans should not have been on the line because of the Vietnam War. Now, here's the caveat, right? Nobody knows what John F. Kennedy would have done had he not been assassinated in 1963. Would he have continued to increase military engagement in Vietnam? He kind of fell on the lap of Lyndon Johnson, the vice president at the time. And so some of the decisions that he made, obviously he had to live with, and many people say it killed his political career. Lyndon Johnson didn't even decide to run for re-election because of Vietnam. I mean, that shows you how monumental of an issue it was.
Well, the Iranians actually issued a stamp with Malcolm X's photograph on it, and they let when the Iranians when there was a conflict with the U.S., they allowed all of the black folks, black and women, released them and kept the Euro Americans. A lot of the Iran got a lot of support will still get a lot of support from the oppressed people of the world.
Yeah, really, Pakistan, the Palestinians really have a lot of support around the world, and in Europe in particular. They really, Spain in particular, man. I don't think a lot of people understand how powerful the World Cup was this year, with Spain winning the World Cup over Argentina. I'll talk about that when we return and take some more phone calls. Good call, Norman. 591-1690, Matt Mcgill Show.
Sunny today with a high of 79. Good afternoon. I'm Kayla Patton in for Logan Page. Here's what's happening. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul has joined efforts to extend the temporary protected status for Haitians. TPS was set to end tomorrow, but a short extension was granted through Monday. Perry Williams has more.
Resident who has lived in Chicago since 2007 is concerned that there won't be a second extension and she could lose her work permit.
I will not be able to pay my mortgage. I will not be able to pay my car. I will not be able to feed my kids.
TPS gives migrants whose home countries are affected by natural disasters and wars the chance to live and work in the U.S. A bill in Congress, if passed, would extend TPS through 2029. I'm Perry Williams.
Earlier this year, the Trump administration stopped issuing temporary work visas to Haitians. Well, Chicago has the honor of hosting an assembly of icons and trailblazers at the Obama Presidential Center for the inaugural WNBA All-Star Media and Innovation Summit. The summit will address topics including athlete ownership, AI, sports science, online safety, and the rapidly evolving media landscape. It also celebrates decades of WNBA transformative impact and how to help shape the next decade for women and girls in sports. There will also be a host of big names taking the stage today at the summit. The game takes place at the United Center on Saturday, so be sure to catch it. Well, there are new questions surfacing in the investigation into the death of Nolan Wells following an independent autopsy. Attorney Ben Crump told the crowd yesterday at the NAACP National Convention in Chicago that the cause of death is still undetermined, and he's hoping for some answers. Wells was found dead in the water on July 6th, just off of Horn Island, Mississippi, where he was on a boating trip with friends. The Mississippi case has gained national attention with its racial component, given Wells, who was black, was traveling with a group of friends, all of whom are white. The annual Chicago Gospel Fest is making a return to Millennium Park tomorrow, and WVON's very own gospel sister, Pam Morris-Walton, will be honored by Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. Programming will host live broadcasts, gospel DJs, and community choir performances throughout the afternoon. And this year's festival features headlining performances from Hezekiah Walker, Ricky Dillard, and Tasha Cobbs. Also be sure first thing tomorrow to catch Pam Morris-Walton live on WVON's morning show with Rufus Williams. That's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. I'm Kayla Patton.
Bingo Multiplier Instant Ticket from the Illinois Lottery. You play with purpose. Over $8.4 million has been raised to help support homelessness programs in Illinois. Purchase one to help raise even more. Be smart, play smart. Must be 18 years or older to play. Game odds available at IllinoisLottery.com.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
It's Gospel with Pam Morris Walton, your gospel sister, on WVON Sundays, 11 to 2 p.m. Music to help you on your journey. I'll see you there, WVON.
Hey, Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON.
Hello, Chicagoland. This is your main man, Tio, Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman. I'm inviting all of my friends, associates, and colleagues to tune in to WVON, the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM for the Tio, Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman Show. This show will cover all the hottest topics, including politics, reducing gun violence, and so much more, right here every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON. Thank you.
Now back to Matt Mcgill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, I'm back, y'all. Whew. I have had a hell of a week this week. I'll tell you guys why next week. I'm not going to tell you this week, but I am in the middle of a lot of family stuff, emotional stuff, not family stuff per se with but you know. I've got a hell of a week, man. Busy week dealing with hospital stuff. It's amazing, man. But it's also, I do want to talk about it because it is a lesson about life as well that we all should be aware of as we get older and dealing with healthcare. You guys know I have a 97-year-old cousin. And going through some of the experiences, she was hospitalized this week. And brother, if anything should upset us as Americans, if anything should upset us as Americans, it's this healthcare system. And we should be pissed off at Democrats and Republicans about our health care, and especially as it deals with elderly people and poor people in this country. We should be, and Israel has amazing health care, and we give them billions of dollars to have amazing health care. I know people, you think I have a hard on for Israel, or that I'm anti-Semitic. I'm not. I'm pro-America, and I'm trying to figure out why Americans can't at least have the same kind of healthcare that a foreign country that we give billions and billions of dollars to has. And then people, we're allowing mainstream Republicans to use the word socialism as a bad word, right? And a lot of black people, I have to admit, man, watching national politics and cable TV, really pisses me off, man, to see black people that are kind of participating or at least facilitating this conversation about the DSA as if it is a negative. What's the conversation they use? Medicare for all or Medicaid for all? Some of these conversations need to be had. How come we live in a country where we are the wealthiest, the richest country in the history of the world, and we still have people struggling for health care, guys? I mean, I think honestly, Bernie Sanders should have been president in 2016. Damn Hillary Clinton. Damn, what's her name? Debbie Wasserman Schultz. And I got to lay blame on President Obama. As much as I love the brother, my daughter works over at the center. Terrible decision. Terrible, man. To keep Hillary Clinton relevant as a politician and not allow Bernie Sanders his moment in 2016 when that man was speaking to the soul of America about fairness. But the Democrats conspired to keep him out because they wanted to put one of the good old boys in, Hillary Clinton. Now we see that she's a damn. And I even to see her at the Obama Center opening, man. I wanted to it's a damn shame. All right, let me go to some more phone calls before I really get pissed off. Nah, my cup of coffee done turned into a cup of pissed off. I'm drinking a cup of pissed off from now to 3 o'clock. Let's go back to the phone lines. Pam, welcome to WVON. What's on your mind?
Hey, Matt, how are you?
Doing good.
Yeah, Matt, I understand because I'm too going through some difficulties with families, and all I know is that Harris and Walz administration would have made things a lot easier. And so, and particularly for Black women who work in the healthcare field, majority are caregivers, majority are working in retail, and the majority are just doing a lot of these service-related positions that this current administration doesn't care about. But Matt, let me ask you this, because I guess, what are the rules of engagement? Because I hear people come on here and say all kinds of things about Black women and Black callers, but now we can't say anything about Jim, and I'm going to respect that.
Well. Hold on. Can't nobody call in here and say anything about Pam.
I'm talking about Black women. I'm talking about Black women.
I'm just saying. I'm saying, can't nobody call in and say, I want to talk about Pam. I'm going to stop them and say, no, we're not callers. We're not calling in to talk about callers. In fact, I've let it happen. Hold on. Let me just get this last part out. In fact, I'm guilty of allowing it to happen too much when it comes to art. I shouldn't let people say anything about art. This is not, we can't have like a immature classroom spat on live radio. That's all I'm saying. So nobody can call in and talk about Jim, Pam, art, anybody else, Norman from Toronto, or anybody else.
Okay, well, let me just add to this. The reason I make that statement, Matt, is because we're in a time where we have an adjudicated sexual abuse in the White House who clearly hates Black people and is very overt about it, and specifically Black women. So my just concern is this. If Pam calls on here pushing misinformation, propaganda, disinformation, and lies, feel free to call me out on it. Feel free to call me out on it, because I respect WVON and its host enough not to come on here and lie about factual information. Now, I may give my opinion all day long, but I'm speaking of factual information. So that's the piece I'm concerned about. Matt, let me ask you this. Is anybody at least a bit concerned that we have an adjudicated sexual abuser in the White House who just had to pay his victim survivor and who has credible allegations of child rape that we cannot fully investigate because the Republican Party has control of the House and they are protecting him? Is anybody the least bit concerned about that? I don't give everything else he does. That's because rape is violent. That's his character. And the last piece I'm going to add, Matt, they didn't make money from the government. Use another adjective or verb. They grifted, conned, stole. They've done illegal trades. You just heard his teleprompter guy. It was just reported he made $100,000 betting on certain words or phrases that would or would not be used in a
That was
presidential
hilarious.
event.
I honestly,
Wasn't it? I mean, that was
I-
crazy.
yeah. But honestly, that story amused me more than anything. I'm gonna be honest with you because I'm gonna be honest
I
with you.
wasn't surprised.
I mean, but that story didn't bother me like a story about politicians or Trump exploiting the Oval Office for a financial gain. That story was, I'm not going to say it was victimless because, I guess we could drill down on it. Maybe somebody can find a victim in that. I just thought it was amusing that the teleprompter guy was able to do a futures bet on the speech and make some money off of it. I thought that was hilarious.
Well, I guess it's just the corruption of it. But,
Right.
Matt, I'm going to go back to my original point, and I'm just going to ask, is anybody upset that we have a person in the White House, and I don't even, person is being generous, that could possibly has credible allegations of child rape? Is anybody, and you're okay with voting for that person?
Yeah, but Pam, let me ask.
Get it investigated because of the Republicans.
Pam, I think everybody has a problem with it. I think everybody that calls WVON has a problem with that. Yes,
Not
I think people.
77 million people voted for him. Matt.
I don't think WVON's listeners voted for Trump.
Some of them did. You know they did because they call on here and tell you.
What I mean, if I took the handful,
they don't give a care about 600 black women losing their jobs.
Well, I hear you. So some people are going to vote, and this is the point that I was making earlier, Pam. You have some people that will vote for Trump because of other things, not because of the bad things, but what they feel like they're politically aligned with. So some people will vote for Trump because they want a conservative Supreme Court. What did they get? What did they get? They got Roe v. Wade overturned. So you have some voters who will say, that's all I wanted. That's what I voted for Trump for. But what about Doge? Hold on, Pam. Hold on, Pam. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
He's a racist.
But hey, Pam. That's on them.
Okay with you, as long as you get those things from a rapist. Because there's nothing Trump could do for me.
Pam.
Yeah.
That's for them to rationalize with themselves. Each individual can ask himself, is Roe v. Wade what they consider to be murdering a fetus? Now that's what they will dive on a sword for. They might say to you, Pam, that I will elect a rapist if he's going to make sure we stop killing children in the womb.
Child rapist.
Whatever you want to call them, Pam. Pedophile, rapist.
That's what he is, Matt. We can't get it investigated. I want you to hear
Pam, what you are doing, Pam.
There are people who voted for him and who are okay with it. And
Pam,
they do, Matt,
some people are okay with that.
Call it what it is.
We can call it what it is, but people have the right to vote for whoever they want to vote for. But here's what I'm gonna say to you, Pam, and I gotta go, Pam. I got to go because I'm over my break, sister. That's all I'm saying. But let me just say this. Some people will say that abortion is more important to them than whether or not Donald Trump's been accused or indicted or proven to be a rapist. Some people will say that. Some people will say, do you know how many babies we kill every year because of abortion? I could care less about Donald Trump being a rapist. I want to save those babies' lives. How are you going to argue with them about that? 591-1690. You're listening to the Matt Mcgill Show.
More from Matt Mcgill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
In July, Vaughn TV has your summer watch list covered. Go behind the headlines with the official launch of Portraits in Color, featuring candid conversations with music executive Matthew Knowles, community leader Jotaka Edie, and actress Danielle Truitt.
My family's very proud. It was very cool to, when the show first came out and to see myself in those credits, with dun 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 dun, and be like, ah! That's me. That's crazy, you know? It is very cool to be a part of the legacy of Law & Order now.
And that's just the beginning. Premiering this month, Serenity, Strength, and Style with Sylvia Ewing and Friends, a fresh new series featuring inspiring conversations about health, wellness, creativity, and living life to the fullest. This July, there's something for everyone on Vaughn TV. Watch on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV Plus, the WVON app, or at Vaughn.tv. Vaughn TV, for the culture, by the culture.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's Rufus Williams.
Harold Washington caught hell from the city council. Was it because he was black? Absolutely, without a doubt. And he came in to dismantle the machine. The challenge that we continue to have is that we don't get anyone in there beyond one term. He was only in for a term and a little bit because he died. Lloyd Lightfoot was only in for one term. We don't know what Brandon Johnson is going to do. Daley's were able to be in for a longer time, to have more power, get more things done. And as well, Rahm was in for 2 terms. But does race matter in Chicago? Absolutely, as it continues to matter every place else in the country.
Weekdays at 7 a.m. on The Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Protect your money and build your wealth. Sundays at 3 p.m., hosts and owners of Top and Top Insurance Agency, Clydell and Betty Top, teach you about protecting your assets, 401ks, annuities, life after retirement, the differences and benefits of life insurance. And they take questions. Their advice can enhance your financial future and your legacy. Call for a free WVON financial consultation, 773-881-8110. Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. to protect your money and build your wealth. Powered by Top and Top Insurance Agency. Now back to Matt Mcgill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, I'm back, y'all. And I didn't mean to get too excited. But I mean, some people are going to vote for an accused rapist. I don't know if Donald Trump accused rapist, convicted, whatever you want to call him, pedophile. The worst terms possible that you can use to describe Donald Trump. As we saw, 77 million Americans voted for him. That's just the reality, for whatever their reason is. For a lot of them, it was because of white power, because that's what Donald Trump exports, the thought of white power. So a lot of those 77 million people voted for white power. Some of those 77 million people voted because of the Supreme Court and what they already did with Roe v. Wade. Some of those 77 million people voted for Donald Trump because of the borders. Build a wall. That bull crap. Some of those 77 million people voted for Donald Trump because of America First. And we see he's already reneged on that campaign promise. Some of those 77 million people voted for Donald Trump just because he's a boss and he says what he tells you what he's going to do. He gives no F's about people pushing back on him, and then he goes ahead and does it. Some people like that. They feel like they need that in the league. We're trying to, I say it all the time when I come on, you voted. You guys know when I get my attitude going, you voted for him. This is America. We voted for him. Look, I'm criticizing him today on the show for Pete Hegseth and a blank-brained Barbie. I mean, I get it. We should be mad that this man is president. But I think the whole conversation I was having with Jim was to try to say, I get why some people vote for him, because whether we like it or not, some people are one or two issue voters. And that's just the way our democracy works. Hey, why did you vote? You know what? If somebody told me I vote Republican, man, because hey, Matt, I'm a multimillionaire, brother. And look, man, these red states I live in, I get to keep my money, brother. I'm down for my people and social programs, but brother, I make $2 million a year. If I lived in a blue state under a Democratic president, they're taking $1 million. Under Donald Trump or Republican, and I live in a red state, they only take 500,000. What am I going to say to that? Oh, you a sellout, man. You a sellout. It's all about money with you? Yeah, it is all about money, my man. I'm trying to keep on holding on to my $2 million, brother. Yeah, you can judge me all you want to, but I'm trying to keep my $500,000 in my pocket. What am I going to say about that? What am I going to say about that? 591. Let me see. We got some more phone calls. I mean, that's just the reality. I hear everything that Pam is saying. But for some people, abortion alone merits a vote for the Republican nominee, no matter who it is. John McCain, Mitt Romney, Donald Trump. I blame Hillary Clinton because the woman could not and would not go away. Bernie Sanders should have been president, or Joe Biden, in 2016. And it probably should have been Joe Biden because he was the vice president. And he should have had his 8 years that would have took him to 2024. And we wouldn't be thinking about Donald Trump. Let's go to Brian. Welcome to WVON.
Hello. Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call. I'm going to hit you with 2 points. I agree with a lot of what Jim said. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have diversity. Everybody, you're not going to think alike, and you got to entertain diversity.
Brian, I hear you. I don't want us to get into talking about other callers. I know you're not saying anything negative.
Now, hold on, but let me get to a point. I didn't call nobody now. I'm just saying I agree with Jim.
Right. Okay.
As far as the last caller concerned, let me ask you a question and be fair with this question. As Donald Trump, once the 2020 election was over with, he never ran for president again, and he said he was through with politics. Do you think he would have called half those cases? Now, be honest.
Do I think that? Let me know when you're ready for me to answer.
All right. He wouldn't have called half of those cases. That's why 77 people voted for him. And the reason why he got elected, because the Democratic Party have gotten so stupid. You had Kamala Harris had people twerking on the stage and she grinning and smiling because she was handed the job. She didn't have to fight for the job. While 20 million people was coming over the border, competing with us with health care, with housing, and that turned working class people against the Democratic Party. Right now, people say they love Chicago, but Chicago, New York, the state of California, they're losing citizens that's heading down south. Right now, the political fight for president is in the South. It ain't really in those three states no more, unless you go to Ohio or Michigan, where you got a lot of
Ohio. Hey, brother. Ohio, Michigan. We know Pennsylvania. We know the states. Wisconsin. Right.
You got to deal with reality.
But hold on. Hey, hold on, Brian. Just listen to what we said. We just named the states. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to say New York, Chicago, California don't matter. But guess what? Neither does then. Hold on. Let me just finish, Brian. I'm going to just go to the next call if you're not going to let me respond on the show that has my name on it.
Because you live in a bubble, brother, but thanks for the little 10 seconds. Thanks.
All right, good. So just like Brian was saying, you see, Brian tried to attack the Democratic states and say that they don't matter. Oh, Illinois, New York, California, they don't matter. It's the southern states. Well, no, it isn't the southern states because Mississippi doesn't matter. Arkansas doesn't matter. Tennessee doesn't matter. Georgia may matter because it's shown that it can be a Democratic. It's a purple state. So it's the swing states. Whatever the swing states are, no matter where they are, those are the states that matter. So we're looking at Wisconsin, right? Michigan, Pennsylvania. Ohio isn't even a swing state anymore. We just put Ohio in the red category. So when people start talking about a presidential election, certain states go right and certain states go left. They don't matter. We know where these states are going. Then it's like, now let's pay attention to these states that go back and forth. They can be either red or blue, right or left. And now you're getting into the Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. We saw Arizona bounced a couple of times. That's why attention is in Arizona now, right? Georgia went blue for Biden in 2020, right? So it's those states. North Carolina can bounce back and forth. Obama won it one time and lost it one time. So people focus on the quote unquote swing states. So if you're going to say California don't matter, then neither does Texas, because we write them off already, right out the gate. We write them off. It's like the Supreme Court. People focus on certain justices that they know can go either way. So they focus on John Roberts, right? They focus on Amy Coney Barrett now, and they focus on Kavanaugh. Because Clarence Thomas is going to always be right, and Alito is going to be right. But those three, and Kagan's going to be left, our sister Ketanji is going to be left, and Sotomayor. So it's these justices that can go back and forth. They're a little more right than left. That's the same way. You write certain people off, and you focus on those states. All right, 2 o'clock hours coming up. Aren't y'all having fun? It's the Matt Mcgill Show. Living in a bubble.
Good Thursday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here are your news headlines. Mayor Johnson and council members clash over advisory referendums. Chicago Haitians face uncertainty as TPS protections are scheduled to expire tomorrow. Senate GOP blocks measure to end Iran war, and preventing mosquito bites starts reducing breeding grounds. National news from the Black Information Network is up next on Chicago's only urban talk radio station, 1690 AM WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
Here's BIN News Now. New Jersey is removing thousands of voter registrations after officials discovered a Motor Vehicle Commission software error mistakenly registered some non-citizens to vote. Governor Mikey Sherrill.
We will remove anyone from the voter rolls who may have improperly registered.
State officials say the issue affected about 6,000 people. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission is considering ending a long-standing requirement that larger employers report workforce demographics by race, ethnicity, and sex. Critics argue the data remains important to identify workplace discrimination. And the U.S. Department of Education is investigating 5 medical schools over allegations that race was improperly considered in admissions decisions. 2 of the schools, Dartmouth College and East Carolina University, say they are still confident in their admissions practices. Get BIN News now, on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Here's more with Terry McCready.
One of the hardest things to do. For me, it's one of the hardest things to do as a president, but has to be done.
President Trump attending a dignified transfer yesterday at Dover Air Force Base for 4 U.S. soldiers. 19-year-old Isabella Gonzalez, 25-year-old Tyler Feehan, and 28-year-old Angel Rompersad were killed when an Iranian missile struck their sleeping barracks. In Jordan on Friday, 30-year-old black U.S. service member Michael Emmanuel Swinton died on Sunday while attempting to disarm a downed Iranian drone in Iraq. Meanwhile, Trump is issuing a new warning to Iran. In a post on Truth Social yesterday, he wrote that if Iran shoots a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. will respond by bombing a bridge or power plant. President went on to say that those next to or in the capital city of Tehran could be targeted. His comments come as the U.S. has launched strikes on Iran for a dozen nights. The latest strikes targeted military operation centers, aircraft hangars, and drone storage facilities. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani continuing to criticize Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and call for his arrest when he visits New York in September.
There is, in fact, a rule of law across the world where there are crimes that are so grave that they offend all of humanity. And I believe that we should hold those who perpetrate them accountable.
The day after releasing a video listing allegations of war crimes against Netanyahu, Mamdani was peppered with questions about it. He says Netanyahu orchestrated a genocide and is a war criminal. He's calling on the federal government to arrest him on an international criminal court warrant. Mamdani has acknowledged that he cannot have New York authorities arrest Netanyahu, which was a campaign promise. Dozens of states are going to be forced to put up more money to fund the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program or end up cutting food assistance if they don't get their error rates under control. The passage of the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill last year, the Trump administration warned states to address error rates or lose partial federal funding for SNAP. The target is an error rate under 6%. It refers to the percentage of SNAP benefits paid either above or below what people should have received, primarily because of mistakes. It includes both over and underpayments. Blacks represent about 26% of SNAP recipients. The Secret Service is ramping up security for the rescheduled White House Correspondents' Dinner following an assassination attempt at the original event in April. Secret Service Director Sean Curran acknowledged his team is at a heightened level of a threat environment based on things happening around the globe. Friday's dinner will be held at the Waldorf Astoria instead of the Washington Hilton. There will be a shorter guest list and enhanced security. This all comes after 31-year-old black suspect Cole Allen of California was accused of sprinting through security with guns and knives in an attempt to assassinate President Trump and other White House officials at the previous dinner. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, is an emergency life-saving procedure performed when cardiac arrest happens, when someone's heartbeat or breathing has stopped. Cardiac arrest is a leading cause of death in the world. Friends, knowing CPR can save lives. This is heart survivor Pam Morris Walton. The American Heart Association is committed to being a relentless force for a world of longer, healthier lives, so heart survivors like me can have more time to celebrate milestones. With CPR, the power to save a life is in your hands. You don't need medical training to learn, just knowledge, courage, and the willingness to act. Cardiac arrest can happen anywhere. Don't wait for help, become the help. Performed immediately, CPR can double or triple a person's chance of survival. CPR is a civic duty. Learn CPR or find a CPR class at heart.org/nation. That's heart.org/nation.
It's time to focus with Robert A. Quality conversation, protecting, preserving, and
You haven't talked to us since Adrian.
Future, Sunday evenings at 4 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Live from the Xfinity Studios.
But you see how I make him like sound stupid. I'm like, I'm trying. I'm like, dude.
Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
You might be right, and that could be true. That could be true. Right. No, you're right. Hey. No, I got you. Hey, I'm about to go back on. Wait till I tell you. I'm gonna call you. I'll call you during the next break. Wait till I tell you. All right. 2:00 hour. We got one more hour. I just got off the phone talking to. I'm gonna give you Facebook Livers one guess. Well, I'll tell you. I just got off the phone talking to Miss Perry Small. Uh-oh. you guys probably heard my Sonia's texting me saying we can hear your conversation. I didn't turn my mic off. But I was just talking to Perry. I was just talking to Perry. In fact, anything Perry and I say on the phone is very entertaining to people that listen on radio. If you guys could eavesdrop on our phone conversations, you guys would be getting some quality radio, my friends. All right, 591-1690, number to call. What are we talking about? Do I have phone calls? I'm all over the place. I saw something I wanted to talk about today, guys. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was something I saw, I think maybe in the Sun Times. How do people still read like traditional newspapers? Like, do people buy the actual hard copy of a newspaper anymore? Like we used to back in the day. Man, we wouldn't be caught dead without a Sun Times back in the day. We would not be caught dead without a Sun Times. Every black person in Chicago had a Sun Times tucked under their arm. Am I lying? All right, geez. Do you guys hear these vehicles in the background? I'm just curious. Do y'all hear that vehicle? That's the post office van. What the hell? Oh, no, it's not. It was somebody else. All right, I take it back. USPS. Here's the newspaper that I was reading today. The White Sox guys continue to win. They're one game ahead of the Cleveland Indians / whatever their new name is, not the Indians anymore. Sox beat the Texas Rangers yesterday 4-2. The Cubs lost to the Tigers, and the Chicago Sky lost to the Liberty. The WNBA All-Star Game is in Chicago this weekend, so there are plenty of activities going on around the city. The issue of Caitlin Clark being the great white hope of the WNBA is really, really growing and creating some divisions in professional sports among commentators and players. It almost reminds me of when Larry Bird was coming into the NBA, and he was the great white hope for the Boston Celtics. And Magic Johnson was with the Lakers, right? And you had, this black young person and this white young person. And white folks were gravitating toward the hard-working Larry Bird, and black people, we were gravitating toward Showtime with Magic and the Lakers. And it played out in public, right? And in conversations and debates. But guess what? We didn't have social media. We didn't have the internet. So this conversation is even more intense with Caitlin Clark, and whether or not the refs are being unfair to all these conversations are happening, man. I'm not kidding you. It really, really, really has expanded into a conversation that's having an impact on politics as part of this conversation. And sports and politics often intersect. All right, this is what I saw earlier. This is in the Sun Times, a meeting Wednesday to determine what advisory referendums get on the November and February ballots turned into a legislative spitball fight that showcased mounting tensions between Mayor Johnson and, check this out, an emboldened city council. See, they're emboldened when it comes to having a black mayor. When Rahm was mayor, they sat their ass down. See, when Daley was mayor, the city council sat their ass down and deal with what the hell they were told to do. But got a black man mayor, now we're emboldened. We're gonna push back. So this is what's going to make the ballot. In November, Chicagoans can vote on if Chicago should pursue all lawful means to recover financial compensation from the federal government for costs and economic harm caused by federal immigration raids linked to Operation Midway Blitz. I think all of us would say yes. You also will be able to vote on whether or not Chicago should restart the use of gunshot detection technology that informs first responders. ShotSpotter, of course, is what comes to mind on this one. How do you guys feel about ShotSpotter, man? I thought it was too expensive. I'm not arguing whether or not it was good for first responders, but it was just too damn expensive. And I thought the owner was a little disrespectful to the city and the mayor in the way that he presented himself in making a case for ShotSpotter. I mean, dude, I'm not going to sit here and speak. That's the mayor of Chicago. He's a black man. Show some damn respect. You wouldn't talk to Rahm like that. You wouldn't talk to Daley like that. See, we got to draw this line in the sand about whether you like Mayor Johnson or not, you should like being black. And you should demand black people be respected. You can sit up here and say, you know what, I don't agree with Mayor Johnson, but I'm not, as a black man, I'm not going to sit up here and let you disrespect him because he's black. If you don't have that gene in you as a black person, turn the dial. Turn the dial. You ain't got time to be wasting turn the dial. You also be able to vote on if Chicago should develop a permanent festival and outdoor event space for large-scale gatherings. I need to find out more about that. I'm not sure how I feel about that. In February, voters will be asked whether city council should have its own legal counsel. I thought they had that already, so I don't know. I guess they should. You'll also be able to vote on whether or not the city, did I say the shitty? The city, I did say the shitty. Should the city withhold funding for sister agencies that don't enforce debt repayment plans for debt owed to the city? So I would have to have an example of what one of those sister agencies are. The city needs all the revenue it can get. And then you'll also in February be able to vote on if Chicago should create a permanent monument to its global contributions to music and arts. Yeah. See, what's missing from this link, and we need to talk about this, and I hate to do it, but how come in February or in November we're not going to be able to vote on whether or not there should be a millionaire tax in Chicago? That's bull crap, guys. Also, Mayor Jason Irvin went ahead with his plan to create a public infrastructure trust to take back the city's parking meters. Irvin introduced a long shot ordinance that would create a 9-member public trust to pool pension and city funds and match the $2.5 billion winning bid submitted by a New York investment firm for the city's meters. This is a damn shame that a New York investment firm is going to own our parking meters. What the hell was Mayor Daley? You talk about blank brained, and I hate to do this to Mayor Daley, but what the hell, man? And the aldermen that voted for it. How about this? Inspector General David Glockner said Chicago spent $639.6 million to house 46,282 people during the migrant crisis that dominated the first 18 months of Mayor Johnson's administration. So I'm sure all the people who still have the migrants in their head love that being highlighted. However, the purpose of the Inspector General making this an issue was to report that he followed the rules in its spending. So some of his opponents and adversaries were trying to claim that he didn't spend the money correctly, or that he showed favoritism, or he hooked up some black people probably. See, it's all right when a white mayor does it and hooks up his people in Bridgeport. But see, and this is why I keep telling y'all representation matters. See, when a black man has control over a $6 billion budget, then people want to turn the inspector general and the feds on, make sure he didn't create some black millionaires, did he? We can't have that. So the inspector general went through the $600 million that was spent and said he followed the rules. And guess what? Some black people got turned on. Some black people were providing food and catering and housing. All right. Some black people got paid out of that $639 million. The black economy got fed out of that $639 million that the city spent on migrants for housing. And guess what? According to the inspector general, the mayor followed the rules. See, they trying to find, you have no In 3+ years that this man has been mayor of the city of Chicago, there have been no scandals. Unlike Mayor Daley, the hired truck program, do you guys remember that? 591-1690. We'll take some phone calls when we return on the Matt Mcgill Show.
More from Matt Mcgill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hey, baby. I'm your Magnolia Blues man, Sir Henry Cheatham, inviting you to join us on WVON 1690 for some real American music and culture. Here on Classic Blues and R&B. Check us out Saturday, 11 p.m. until 2 a.m. on WVON and Classic Blues and R&B.
Shop small with Wintrust Bank and celebrate the heart of our community, our local businesses. Listen as we share a list of small businesses throughout our community that we can shop, dine, and support throughout the year. These businesses are the economic engine that drives our neighborhoods. Wintrust knows that. That's why they're Chicago's bank and why they're encouraging you to shop local. Keep listening for the Wintrust Community Business Spotlight campaign. With Wintrust, shopping small is a big deal.
Maria Pappas with Black Houses Matter.
We're up to way over $400 million here. Yeah, giving money back. How about that? People in Bellwood got $10 million, Broadview $6 million, Burnham $3 million, South Holland $17 million. The city of Chicago's up to $190 million that we have given back to African Americans. Who does that? Nobody does that but WVON.
Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas with Black Houses Matter. Monday mornings at 11:30 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Now back to Matt Mcgill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Live. All right, we're back. Hey, so look, wait a minute. I'm reading some of your comments on Facebook Live. And Tony Snow is hilarious. He says, Mr. Marcus. Wait a minute, let me go to. He says, Mr. Marcus for city controller. Oh man, you guys are cracking me up, boy. Here's what's interesting. Jeff Goldblum for president. Brand Barr says, Matt, you should not be amused by a story where someone is literally stealing money from American taxpayers. You should be outraged and calling it out on the airwaves. Is this still WVON, the voice of the nation? I said I was amused, or if you missed it, I said I was amused by the guy who operates the teleprompter for President Trump's speeches, right? So obviously he gets a copy of the speech and he has to load it into the teleprompter, right? So what he was doing was he was on the side going to these sites where you've got these guys that take hedge bets on everything. So they would take a hedge bet on whether or not Iran is going to strike back at I'm just using an example, right? They'll take a hedge bet on is there going to be a fight in the WNBA All-Star game this weekend? Will somebody take a shot at Caitlin Clark? And you can bet these guys. There's a guy, man, that allows you to bet on any and everything. And the guy's making a ton of money for doing it, right? He's making off like a bandit. So this teleprompter guy, he gets President Trump's speech in advance. And then he goes to this website where this guy bets on everything. He allows you to bet on everything. And he bets on what the president will say in the speech. So he's been doing it and making money. He's made over $100,000, right? So I am amused by that, Brian Barr, because he is not stealing money from American taxpayers. If anything, he's cheating a guy who is running a website that is taking money from hardworking Americans on betting, right? Or that is not taxpayers' money. Now, he's using information that he has because of his proximity to the president of the United States. That's why I thought it was funny. So I disagree with you on what you were saying. Brandbar, thank you, Pam. Melody Span Cooper, can we get a show hosted by Pam? All right. Alma McIntosh, I agree with you, Matt. Bernie Sanders should have been president. Yes. 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 Look, I'm not disagreeing with anything Pam says, but I can't if we're gonna let callers call in and talk about other callers, then that's all that's gonna happen on the show, guys. And then that's gonna be just not making sense. Number one, some of you guys, hold on. I saw something else that I took offense to, though. Let me see. Douglas Nelson, stop shielding. Now listen to this. You guys, I want you guys to respond to this. Stop shielding Jim from righteous black analysis and criticism. White stations won't allow you to constantly praise Brandon Johnson. Stop trying to always be the fair, slow-walking Negro. So let me ask you guys this. In the phone call that we had with Jim, did you guys get that I was protecting Jim from analysis and criticism? That I was shielding Jim from, wasn't I criticizing him in what I was saying? I was totally telling him, Jim, everything that you say has no value to it. Did you guys not hear? See, I always say people hear what they want to hear, not what I'm saying. I sat up here and said to Jim, everything that you say has no value because of everything that you say. Maybe I insulted him in a way that was over some people's heads, but I absolutely was condemning Jim and everything that he said. What part of that did y'all not understand? I can't believe y'all, that would be your conclusion after hearing that little back and forth. And then I cut Jim off every time he started talking. Are you guys listening to the show? I totally told Jim, everything that you say is irrelevant and useless. That's protecting him from black analysis and criticism. I just criticized the man. Y'all are killing me, man. You hear what you want to hear. You don't hear what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Eric Newman says 1 out of 50 reads a hard copy of the newspaper. My neighbor in my condo is one of them. And then Viella Williams says my 83-year-old mom gets the Tribune delivered every Sunday. She loves to read. My 97-year-old cousin gets a Tribune delivered every day. So, yes, I understand. All right, let me grab a phone call. I love this, man. We got plenty of time left on the show. I got a whole half hour. All right, come on. Let's go to Andy from Chatham has been holding on the longest. And Shelby, hold on, you're next. Andy.
Yes, it's Randy. How are you?
Randy.
Yes, how are you?
Doing good, Randy.
Yeah, good. I'm going to be quick and everything because I know we're coming up against clock. It's 2:28, and I'll be real quick. I have to agree with Pam, and I think it's important. One, I can understand your concern about when certain callers call in. Okay, you don't want to call them names, but I think I can say, hey, I disagree with Jim's analysis, right?
That's fair. That's fair.
Call them, names and do all
That's
stuff like
fair.
that. Right? And, is that? Excuse me. Let me do this real quick because you took a lot of time. Time as far as talking. I'm talking about. I just want to say this real quick. Since a short period of time because you come up on 2:30. Is that acceptable? I just want to give
Yes, Randy. That's fair. That's fair.
Okay. Now, with that said, I'm sorry for interjecting, and I'll get off real quick because I have respect for the other callers and stuff. And I do respect you. I think you're a good guy. But I do think you kind of coddle him, Jim, because I hear, because other people do that. And I'm telling you, when Perry was on, she wouldn't let Jim on. Jim wouldn't. She said, Jim, do not call my show. I think you're aware of that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, in all fairness, the Jim comes up, and a lot of times people, certain moderators, certain hosts do not challenge his irrational, his ridiculous propaganda, the pro-Trump, pro-Republican Party propaganda and stuff like that. It goes unchallenged a lot of times, and that's the problem I have as Randy as a researcher. So with that said, I'm going to get off the line. I want to hear your
Well,
response.
Randy,
Call on, okay?
Randy, here's my question. I totally said to Jim while he was on the line, everything that you say has no value to the show because people don't take your comments seriously. I'm trying to understand how people are interpreting that as being complimentary.
Look, this is why I'm going to be real quick because out of respect for you, I like you, but I know that you do this because I know you did it with Desiree Rogers, who was on, you did it with Rahm Emanuel. There are a tendency sometimes that the host will try to protect the certain guests and certain people, certain callers from criticism from being asked certain questions. So I know, I'm not saying specifically you, but I know that in the past that there were certain things I saw that you actually did do because I even questioned you about it in person. I said, Matt, why did you do ABC with this person? You know that we wanted to question Desiree Rogers and blah, blah, blah. And then you would say, well, they didn't want to do ABC.
But hold on, Randy, and I'll let you come back on the other side because I don't want to. Hey, Randy, I'm gonna take a break here, and you can hold on. But there are a couple of things I want to say. Number one, Rahm Emanuel hasn't been on with me in over 10 years, number one, right? But let me say this. I'll use Desiree as an example, right? If somebody, or I won't even use Desiree, if somebody is coming on, if somebody's PR company has reached out to us, and they have a topic, hey, we want to bring this person on to talk about something we are doing in the African-American community that is going to be beneficial to the African-American community, right? Then I have to make a decision about whether or not they come on to talk about what their publicist is saying, hey, we want them to come on and talk about. Now, I can make a decision and say, well, hey, I want to talk to them about this, and then they can decide whether they want to come on or not. And sometimes they decide not to come on. Here's what I'm going to tell you guys something, and I'm going to get my old producer, Courtney, on the show so she can back me up on this, right? There were a lot of times that Mary Manuel wanted to come on the show, and we wanted to talk to him about Laquan McDonald, and his the City Hall press people said, well, Matt, we'll bring him back on to talk about that. And we made a decision not to have the mayor on. But see, you guys will never know that because he didn't come on the show. And I didn't come on and say, well, the mayor wants to come on, but we wanted to ask him about Laquan McDonald, and so he declined to come on. I never came on the air and said that. He just didn't come on the show. But if you guys know how many times Mayor Emanuel's office was calling me to come on the show, and we said no, unless we could talk about this, that, and the other, you'd probably be surprised. The thing about Jim is right out the gate, guys, I was like almost insulting his analysis of Donald Trump and his perspective. And I think you guys do not like Jim so much that it didn't matter what I was saying to him. You guys just dislike the fact that I let him on the show. If I don't let Jim on, one of the reasons why I let everybody come on, you can say whatever you want to say, because the minute you don't let somebody on your show, then they be like, yeah, they scared of me, man. See, that's WVON. They don't let me come on and talk, right? So I want to be, unless you are being like totally trolling and insensitive and insulting people, calling them out of their names, Jim doesn't do any of that. We just wholeheartedly disagree with his politics. He is a MAGA person, and we totally disagree with it, right? But he's not coming on and calling people out of their names or anything like that. But I totally said, Jim, what you say is useless to my audience. How is that perceived as being complimentary? All right, we'll take some more phone calls when we return on the Matt Mcgill Show.
Hope you're having a thriving Thursday afternoon, Chicago. I'm Logan Page, and here it's happening in your local and national news. The Chicago City Council ended its final meeting before summer recess with heated debate over advisory referendums. A proposed millionaire's tax backed by Mayor Johnson will not appear on the February ballot because it was filed too late. Tensions also flared over a proposal to let the City Council have its own legal representation, leading to a public clash between the mayor and Alderman Andre Vasquez. The next city council meeting is scheduled for September 23rd. In other news, Chicago's Haitian community is tense considering Homeland Security's temporary protected status deadline is tomorrow. Some hopeful Haitians are fearful there won't be a second extension. TPS gives migrants whose home countries are affected by natural disasters and wars the chance to live and work in the U.S. A bill to extend protections has passed the U.S. House and is now being considered in the Senate. If the legislation is passed, it would extend TPS through 2029. In other news, Senate Republicans blocked a measure aimed at ending U.S. involvement in the Iran war, with the motion failing by a 47-49 vote. Republican Senator Susan Collins joined Democrats in support, while Democratic Senator John Fetterman voted against it. The vote followed House approval of a similar measure with support from 4 Republicans. The debate comes as concerns grow over mounting casualties and the length of the conflict. And this is a time of year when mosquitoes love to bite, but you can reduce the risk. Step 1, according to the New Jersey Health Department, is to get rid of standing water in your yard and birth baths, pet bowls, pool covers, empty flower pots, buckets, and yes, watering cans. Step 2, according to the EPA, is to wear long-sleeve shirts and pants when outdoors and stay inside during peak mosquito hours, dawn and dusk. Mosquito repellent containing DEET is highly recommended for exposed skin. I'm Logan Page, and that's happening in your news now on WVON 1690 AM.
It's Rufus Williams. The thrill of summer is finally here, which also means it'll be over before we know it. This fall, the Rufus Williams Travel Club is heading to Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Join me as we experience the beauty, the brilliance, and the culture of one of America's most captivating cities. We'll enjoy the charm of the Lowcountry, breathtaking scenery, incredible cuisine, and the rich African-American history of Charleston. There will also be a few special surprises designed just for our group. So whether you're traveling alone, with family, or with friends, you'll be welcomed into an unforgettable experience filled with great people and great memories. Space is limited, and the best rates are right now. Simply go to WVON.com, click on the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner, and reserve your space. Advantage International is the official travel partner of the Rufus Williams Travel Club. Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Travel with people, travel with purpose, travel with us.
Protect your money and build your wealth. Sundays at 3 p.m., host and owners of Top & Top Insurance Agency, Clydell and Betty Top, teach you about protecting your assets, 401ks, annuities, life after retirement, the differences and benefits of life insurance, and they take questions. Their advice can enhance your financial future and your legacy. Call for a free WVON financial consultation, 773-881-8110. Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. to protect your money and build your wealth. Powered by Top & Top Insurance Agency. Now back to Matt Mcgill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hello. Come on. 2 o'clock hour has been fun so far. Let's keep it going with some of these phone calls at 591-1690. I tell you what, man, I need to pay Jim, man, because Jim gets on there and he makes a show, man. Boy, he gets y'all riled up. Art and Jim, I think I'm gonna give Art and Jim their own show on WVOM because boy, those are the two people y'all get the most mad at, man. But look, I let Jim come on, say what he want to say. Art come on, say, then we can disagree with it. That's cool. Look, some people don't let Mama D come on. I let Mama D come on. Okay? Hey, I'm trying to be fair to everybody. Brother Randy, are you still there?
I'm still here, brother. How are you?
Hey, Randy. I
Yes,
was
sir.
totally dissing Jim and his commentary.
No,
I said what you say is useless and valueless.
I'm just telling you from what the past. No disrespect to you, brother. You're brother, man. I like you. You're a good brother. It's not that. It's just that I notice a pattern and practice and stuff. It has nothing to do with today. And I know that you will get on him and challenge him. It's not. I'm not talking about just today, but I agree. I support you in challenging him, which is great. But I'm saying other hosts also. I'm talking about other hosts that did stuff. I'm just saying things in the past because it was brought to my attention by listen and stuff. So no disrespect to you. I think you're a good person, and I like the way your personality, how you kind of deal with people. I think you're very fair. Really, to be honest with you, I think you're pretty fair and everything like that. I know I bumped heads with you a couple times and stuff over a couple of issues and stuff, but you're all right with me and stuff. So with that said, I don't want to hold you up. I don't want you to take up too much time. Jim to me is really irrelevant, really, to be honest. And no disrespect to him as a person. I'm just saying I don't consider him. He doesn't care that much with me as well as Art because I met with Art. And Art was supposed to show up at different programs. He didn't show. He was MIA, missing in action. See, my thing, when you talk about black family codes of conduct and stuff, then you show up at these family events. He didn't show up. No call, no show. So I'll leave it at that. But keep up the good work. I appreciate you.
All right.
And I'll get off and let other people make their comments. Thank you.
Good call always, Randy.
Thank you for your time.
Randy's an amazing brother, man. And Randy and I have known each other for a long time, dude. And we have had some great conversations. And like I said, it's not always we don't have to agree all the time, right? Sometimes you agree, sometimes you disagree. Ken Duncan's ready to get in the studio already, man.
Oh, I didn't even know you saw me, man.
Well, you on the screen,
sorry,
man.
Oh my goodness. What up, Matty Matt?
What's going on, brother?
Man, it's love, brother. You my dude.
What you got going at 3 o'clock?
Me, man. In the words of Matt Mcgill, I discovered you, and that's a fact. That's a fact.
No, Ken Duncan was an amazing state rep for years when I met you, brother. You were one of the most, to me, one of the most accessible, one of the most relatable and truthful and honest to your community. I didn't buy any of the BS people were throwing out about you, man, in those years, brother. You remember you were coming on the morning show, man. I was letting you lay it out.
Hey, look, 6 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
Hey, let me tell you something, WVON family. I love me some Matt Mcgill. I'm not at his funeral.
People were telling me, people were trying to tell me, man, don't have Ken Duncan on your show. You giving him.
Who said that?
Oh, man. Springfield people.
Some cranks. And they were licking the derriere of Michael Madigan, who is now in jail, locked up indefinitely.
Really? I mean, so where is Mike Madigan?
Mike Madigan is the poster child for corruption, not in Illinois, but for the United States of America.
So he's in jail right now?
Yes.
Where? In federal jail? Federal prison?
North Carolina, maybe Wisconsin. You know what we should get, Matt? We should get all of those letters of support for him since an election is coming up, and see all those bona fide cranks who just literally could not exist. They couldn't straighten their face out because it was stuck in between Mike Madigan's butt cheeks.
Woo!
After
What
he
about
finished using the bathroom.
what about Ed Burke? Is Ed Burke in jail?
Ed Burke is out. He's in the halfway house.
Is he? Okay. So, I mean, I guess there's a statement to be made about the two most powerful people in the state of Illinois politically in the Democratic Party. Both of them went to jail. There's a statement in there somewhere, Ken Duncan.
Why do you think I'm always happy when I come on the WVON show?
There's something. I mean, you think about it, though. But even, Republican-wise, you look at George Ryan. Man, look, George Ryan went to jail. His wife died while he was in. I mean, dude, that was not a happy story, brother.
Yeah. And here's what's crazy. George Ryan, Jim Edgar, Jim Thompson were relatively beloved across the state of Illinois.
Yeah,
Why?
no doubt.
So that is the epitome of Democrat Republican stuff means absolutely nothing. Here's one thing that white people, Democrats, Republicans are real clear about. They're not sharing no power and damn sure no economic parity with foundational Black Americans. Prove me wrong.
I hear
Anybody.
you. I hear you. I hear you.
So
I hear you.
So my point is, yeah, Trump. White folk got one thing clear. They're not sharing equity in terms of power or economic, or excuse me, money with no ninjas across the state of Illinois and the nation.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. So I've been in those ante-rooms with him discussing that level of legislation when it comes to power and money in terms of Black folk.
Mm-hmm.
So when the immigrants come in, they're clear as well.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to be associated with foundational Black Americans,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to prove to white folk, especially those who are white adjacent.
Yeah, so let me ask you this though, Ken. Do you think the average immigrant that's coming over here is thinking that thoroughly about it, or are you talking about the political forces that represent the immigrant community? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. When I see the average immigrant in the grocery store, right, I think they give no F's about the politics of what's going on. They're just surviving. They're just here. They're just in there shopping. They're just about survival, right? Now, and see, this is what I think we got to be careful about, right? Is how the immigrant situation is being used politically, right? Because that's how Black people have been used politically for years. And what we're doing, what I think we're seeing is the immigrant population is being used to be a political divisive force. And it's not, I don't know that it represents, like if you look at the average immigrant and ask them, like, who's
legal immigrant or illegal?
Either one. If you ask them, again, if you ask the average immigrant walking down the street, who's Speaker of the House of the state of Illinois General Assembly, they can't tell you a damn thing.
Absolutely.
Right. So they're out of the mainstream politics. They're just being used as a pawn.
Sure. And you know what? And we get that. But here's one thing. Here's what I love. What I love about Black Americans. We have the intuitive instinct to know who's real and who ain't. That's why I love Black people. And I will never be in front of my Republican friends or my Democrat friends apologizing for excellence. There's no such thing as Black excellence. It's excellence. We set the standard athletically, innovatively, inventive, and intellectually.
And Let me take a break here. Shelby's on hold. He wants to say something.
Hey, Matt,
all right.
I'm online. Hey, Matt.
All right, Shelby, your call's coming up next when we return.
White folk know that.
Right.
They know it. And so they structured a system that keeps us keep us at bay.
Yeah, but so Ken, so the question is, there's a system in place, the infrastructure of American politics. I don't know that it even allows for Black people to share the resources, right? And I'll explain what I'm talking about when we return. Shelby, I promise we're going to get to your phone call when we return on the Matt McGill Show.
More from Matt McGill coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
When you play the 7X Bingo Multiplier Instant Ticket from the Illinois Lottery, you play with purpose. Over $8.4 million has been raised to help support homelessness programs in Illinois. Purchase one to help raise even more. Be smart, play smart. Must be 18 years or older to play. Game odds available at IllinoisLottery.com.
Hey, baby! I'm your Magnolia Blues man, Sir Henry Cheatham, inviting you to join us on WVON 1690 for some real American music and culture. Here on Classic Blues and R&B. Check us out Saturday, 11 p.m. until 2 a.m. on WVON and Classic Blues and R&B.
Hello, Chicagoland. This is your main man, Tio, Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman. I'm inviting all of my friends, associates, and colleagues to tune in to WVON, the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM for the Tio, Mr. Ceasefire Hardiman Show. This show will cover all the hottest topics, including politics, reducing gun violence, and so much more, right here every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON. Thank you.
Now back to Matt Mcgill on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
All right, we're back. So I think that is a good conversation for us to have maybe tomorrow or next week. Let's talk about the political infrastructure of American politics and whether or not it allows for black people to, foundational black people, to get a fair cut of the pie. Because what we cannot say is in the history of this country, 250 years, there's never been a black politician that has been trying to get a cut of the pie for his community, right? So it's either something else is up, okay, or it's not meant to be. All right, Shelby, let's go to Shelby. Shelby's been holding. What's going on, Shelby?
Brother Matt, can you hear me?
There you go. Yeah, I know. I need the volume up on the phone calls. Robert, if you can turn it up for me, please.
Okay, now, Matt, I have to tell you, man, I don't think there's anything that anyone can say to me and do to me that would force me to respect Trump. No, Matt, he's the worst person ever to exist on the planet, easily. And I agree with everything Sister Pam said about him because it's true. Now, let me go a little bit further, Matt. Anyone else that has anything good to say about Trump, I don't respect them either. Matt, did you see there was a major in the Air Force that was in full uniform? I think it happened while I was in China. He was in full uniform. He went in front of the Capitol, and he had a speech where he said that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance should be arrested and put in jail for treason.
Right.
Did you see that?
I didn't, but if you say it, I believe it.
They arrested him. He's in jail, and I never heard another story about that since.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
but here's hey, Shelby, but here's the thing. This is all I was saying to Pam. I agree with everything Pam was saying, but what I was trying to tell Pam is that politics is a game of people's interests. They don't have to like the person that they're voting for. They don't have to agree with everything. So Shelby, hold on. Let me finish, Shelby. Let me finish.
Yeah.
They don't have to like the person or agree with everything that the person says, right? People vote their interests, man. And their interests might be, the example I gave, because Pam said Donald Trump is a rapist and a pedophile, right? And the example I gave was, you have people out here who would say, I voted for Donald Trump because I wanted to overturn Roe v. Wade, because I think that you are killing unborn children. And I prioritize that over him being a rapist. How are you going to argue with them? That's their interest.
Matt, one more thing. I'm an honorably veteran from the military. And I took that oath seriously. Matt, you were not in the military, right? Is that right?
That is correct.
You didn't take that oath. When someone violates that oath and they commit treason, we got to get him out of there. Hey, Matt, thanks a lot for taking my call. Have a nice day, man.
Hey, Ken Duncan, let me tell you this. To Shelby's point, hey, I regret not taking some ROTC, and while I was in college, I should have joined the National Guard because, man, when you're a veteran, when you get older, them benefits come in handy, brother.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look, it is no joke. I took ROTC in high school, but I didn't realize they start when you're in college. I understand. I'm not 100%, but listen. I love the WVON audience because they are highly intelligent. They are astute. Most of them read. Most of them know what's going on, but all of them don't necessarily have all the facts, myself included. One thing I damn sure know is that when I served, I understood that the personal, the political, and the policy dynamic. And what I try to do sometimes is I pull back and I'll be funny, I'll chill, I'll play it light, I'll listen to positions that I don't even agree with or may not even understand. But you learn that when you're in a body of politics with a very large, diverse position and articulation. But I have to respect everybody's background based off where in the hell they come from. And everybody's orientation is not from mine, from Black empowerment, the Nation of Islam, Black civil rights leader, Black educated, intelligent people from in the projects of Cabrini Green, me reading. And so I don't assume everyone has that disposition, but I'll just sit back and chill and listen. And so you just learn to really laugh because sometimes you cannot show or present your level of intelligence because it'll get you in trouble potentially. Even how you sound, let alone what you say. But WVON gives us a diverse position, and I listen to it and I love it. So,
man, you know what? Just to have,
man, sorry for crashing your show, man. But you my man, you my brother, man.
Yeah, that's real. You ain't got to worry about that, man. Because you know what, Ken, you and I do good radio, brother. We've always done good radio.
Man, listen, I'm following your lead. Hey,
Back.
Matt, do people really know how a badass you were in high school? Baseball, football. Matt, let me say something. Matt probably wouldn't have never ever spoke to me in high school because he was so dominant. He and his siblings, they just. At Julian, in the 70s and the 80s, Julian had a swag.
Dude, we thought. Let me tell you this. Julian football team. When I was on it, brother, you couldn't tell us that we weren't celebrities and stars, man.
I went to Lincoln Park High School on the near north side in Lincoln Park.
Oh, man.
We used to read about Julian like, wow, those guys are like college players. They have they have a weight room. And Matt, you were one of the people that we read about and that we revered, man.
Man, our football games.
If they knew who in the hell you were.
Man, I went to a Julian football game last year. Torrey Barrett's son played for Julian last year. Played football and basketball. And I went to one of the games, man. And I was telling them, you have no idea what a Julian football game was like when I played on the team. Gately Stadium was sold out. Both sides jam-packed.
Yes.
Crowd around the outside part where the end zone is, standing up, trying to watch the game. Our band would come in like it was an HBCU band. We had at least about 50 to 60 cheerleader pom-pom girls and flag girls that were marching in, and we would come out the locker room and they would all be lined up and we would run out in between and they'd be cheering us on. And we had a crowd that was losing their minds as we came out onto the field. We thought we were stars, man.
You were. You are. Listen, I knew of Julian because of you all's band.
Right.
You all had such an elite band. I played trumpet. I was first chair. And, I followed high school bands like Rolling Meadows. Julian was like, are you kidding me?
I know, right? It was nuts, man.
Band. That's how I found out about you all's football team,
so
baseball team.
Mr. Street, our band director, was from Tennessee State, dude. And he had our band doing everything that Tennessee State was doing, man.
It was grown.
Man, it was crazy. It was nuts. We used to come out that locker room. We would come out that locker room on 100, man, just feeling like, and then let me tell you this. I was the beneficiary of playing a Prep Bowl game that came on Channel 5, right?
Come on.
And
At Soldier Field.
At Soldier Field, and Greg Gumbel was calling the game. And I called two touchdowns right in the game. So I had the benefit of like that moment.
Man, hold on.
Woo. And then it was on the back page.
In Soldier Field.
Dude, I called the winning touchdown. Wait a minute, kid. It was on the back page of the Sunday Sun-Times. They had a picture of me catching the ball. Dude, you couldn't tell me I wasn't a celebrity. Anyway, I'm out of here.
No, man. No.
You and LaDonna Ray got a show coming up.
Man, look, we come back. I want to hear what your adulation, what your ego, what your head was, bruh. Matt, WVON, don't play with us. That's Matt
Julian
McGill.
was on fire. Hey, brother, you see I'm wearing orange. I'm wearing orange to this day. I'm repping the orange right here. All right. Ken Duncan, love you, brother. I'm out of here. Ken and LaDonna Ray coming up next, y'all. 3 hours of Power Radio on the way. I'll see you guys tomorrow.